How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another episode of No Excuses with your favorite show hosts, are still.
Venerian.
And Volocel, and we're here to bring you the latest news and games commentary for the week. Yes,
Yes.
and we're all here for once. Fantastic.
Yes. The work gods have allowed us this brief reprieve.
It's not going to last, is it?
No. So yeah, we are here and we are hunting monsters. I am at the start of high rank.
I am a little bit ahead of him. I got through the ranking gate, so it looks like my hunter level's a lot higher than Fern's, but it's only incidentally a lot higher.
Yeah, you progressed the
I
hunter
would-
ranks really fast in this game, it seems like. I recall it
does,
taking
like-
much longer in the previous games to boost that fast.
Well, World took months to get to hunter rank 100, but there's been people who've been doing it in a couple of days.
Like, I have not played at all this week and did not know life the game by any stretch of the imagination the 2 weeks before. And am already like hunter rank 70 something.
Yeah. So you're just going to get there no matter what you do, by the sound of it.
Yeah, it's like a lot of things in this game. It appears that they've just sort of like greased the chute quite a bit, and I appear to be stuck in a loading screen. I've been sitting here staring at it. The bar is full, and has been for quite some time.
It took a second and it finally let me through. Just got through.
Yeah. Is it just me or the last few days the loading screen's been getting worse?
Oh, there you go. Now you're in. It'll get let you out of the loading screen.
Ah, yes, here we go.
Yep.
It seems random with the loading screens in this game. Sometimes they go quick, sometimes they don't.
I don't know how much of it is like server burden or whatever, since now everything is like obsessively online.
Yeah, how much of it's de novo because, de novo.
Booty,
Yeah.
come for that booty.
It's sort of
you're in
an
there. Okay.
unquantifiable effect.
Yes.
Oh, it's
You are
unquantifiable.
very pink.
Oh yeah, I have layered armor on because I'm at the end of the gear tier now. I'll wear the clown suit. As long as I'm trying to get him down, but this appears to just be a wedge beetle.
My sacred is very.
Hi,
Yeah,
I'm up.
it's not quite so simple to pull these guys down. They often climb up things that don't really have any way of being pulled down.
I just used the juice, and now
Stop throwing up on your own butt. I believe these guys have a severable tail.
they do.
They do.
One to town on. Doing a lot more damage to this thing because it doesn't appear to be resistant to fire.
But I get the feeling that the severable the weapons that get made out of its severable tail are just like reskins of Joe weapons.
They really do, except they've got metal plates instead of teeth.
But yeah, if you'd like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com. Or you can follow us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw. You can join us in the Discord server, which you can get to by clicking on the link provided in the show description underneath the archive on YouTube. Why did I just stand in front of that?
Because you forgot you don't have a shield for a moment?
I do have a shield. I'm a heavy bow gunner. Why I'm still standing after doing that.
Weird that looks.
Now I can't see the monster because there is a dead giant pangolin in the way.
Yeah. Oh, and the body's friend. More Balharas.
You
There's
know,
always more Balaharas out here.
for all the shoes that I have with wilds, I almost can forgive a bunch of them just for letting me buzzsaw across the monster. Of course, this guy's on a slope, so I can just kind of do it whenever, I guess.
You have unlimited buzzsaws.
As long as he wants to fight me on a slope.
The knockdown.
Tails
Oh,
off.
nice.
Carve. Wyvern gem. I kind of wanted a tail, not another wyvern gem, but
How's he gonna? Oh no, there he is.
I knocked him down.
He came down after all.
Had a rock burst on me.
Nah. Gross.
So yeah, we've not really continued our Monster Hunter adventures. Me and Vol played a little bit more after the show last week. Fern is just now picking back up after low rank.
Yeah. So I spent a good chunk of time yesterday just diving in, finishing the story up, getting tired of Kid, who is, at the end of the day, he's still a kid. He's going to have kid decisions.
But he's the same. They're exactly the same, Fern.
Yeah, no.
It just wants to live. What about all the monsters it's eating, kid? They just wanted to live
Yeah.
too. I mean, and your
Look
village.
at all those corpses.
Village too, I guess. But mostly the other
They seem
monsters.
to be, they make all their clothes out of dead missing nose. Seriously, what is with that texture?
There's actually a reason for it, though, that they dress in that weird crap.
Okay.
It's basically made of like the cast-offs of cocoons, so that guardians don't think that they need to be eaten.
Huh. That actually kind of makes some sort of sense. So yeah, I suppose we'll just do weeks, and my week is it's been work. Lots and lots and lots of.
Work,
That last week when I was away was also the first Drunk Cowboy event of the year, so yay. They're back.
They're always back.
Oh yeah.
So, do they ever leave?
Yeah, they go away for a bit. They went away this week, thankfully. But yeah, so that ended up being a massive weekend and absolutely zero time off.
knockdown. So much easier to do that in co-op.
Yes. And beyond that, it's been just still chipping away at VR Skyrim, which is both entertaining and infuriating.
Get the best VR experience you had this week.
We did some golf, and I played half of it, Half-Life Alyx, because it came up on the sale and it was cheaps.
But not just any golf.
Wall golf, everyone's favorite.
Yeah,
And also Meow Wolf, which is we just did drugs basically and played golf. That's what that is.
cheap to mention.
Yep. Yeah, if someone sucked down a whole bunch of LSD and created a golf course, that's what they create. But at least it had both of those courses had some very interesting mechanics tied into them. So yeah, Walkabout Golf is good fun in VR.
Yeah, really hoping we get more good VR co-op experiences that are a bit more substantive than mini golf. But take what we can get. Take what we can get right now.
Yeah, Half-Life Alyx shows that yes, it is possible, and if someone has a good idea, they can make a good game. I can see where a lot of ideas for other VR games have been copied from Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah, because it just figured out so many of the problems,
Yeah,
fixed them.
like the gravity glove alone is just incredible. It just makes things so much more fun than, physically bending down to pick stuff up. Oh, hello, there's a frog here now. Also, you really want to have something you hate about Balahara? When it's dead, look inside its mouth. Its eyes are between its teeth,
Lol.
which
It's like an oyster.
it is.
Isn't it like a Leviathan classified or something?
Yes.
Where,
Yes,
where,
it is.
where are we
But
going?
it's not laggy.
It is not laggy, but laggy is possibly coming according to some of the data mining.
Yeah, it apparently
We've
has
heard
an
that
I.
before, though.
It simultaneously sounds like a lot of cope, but there's also some good evidence for it. Apparently, there's an area in the forest that looks just like Laggy's lair that isn't currently in use, and Laggy has an ID, but he could just be cut content. There's no indication they plan to put him back in.
Goodness, yeah. I mean, remember all this crap existed for World as well, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, but his model would not play nice with World.
What they say.
I think it's just they don't know how to make him interesting without the underwater stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because
they figured it out with Ludroth, but by making him easier, basically.
By making him a sponge.
Well, he's always a sponge. But underwater Ludroth would kick your ass. He had no chill. Ooh, a shiny. Worm coin. Oops.
I want to hit your mouth so I can counter it, but your tail's in the way.
Yeah. So anyway, story for Monster Hunter World Wild's complete. Honestly, it just hit basically every beat we'd expect for that sort of story on the way down out of the tree. I said it last time that a lot of this stuff surrounding the Hunters Guild lore and how it operates and why it operates, I think was honestly better when it was left to the fandom.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't feel like they were too specific. They've just made the guild seem like an annoying thing rather than a mysterious organization.
Yeah.
It's like, this is yet another world run by bureaucrats.
Well, yeah. That kind of happened in stories, though.
Everybody's been memeing positively about you now have permission to hunt the monster, but whenever Alma says that to me, I'm like, did I need your permission? Did I ask you?
Yes, you did, because you signed up to the guild.
You did not merely sign up, you were one of their veterans.
Yes.
You already agreed to this particular compact a long time ago, in theory.
Yes. Except for that one time at the end of the story where you just kind of do it anyway. But it's always been the Hunters Guild has always been about regulating and all of that stuff. But that's again been largely on the fandom.
Wounds on your other foot.
So yeah. Anyway, Kid did kid things, and there's a monster did things. There was a bigger bad guy monster set piece behind it, because of course there was.
That you will not get to fight again.
That you'll not get to fight again, at least outside of a high rank event that'll probably come in a patch later.
I'm pretty sure somebody said that they'd seen evidence that was going to be introduced as an event quest later type of thing.
They've kind of data mined out 1 or 2 weapons from the thing.
Yeah, it has a couple weapon models, and it just makes sense that, they have this fully complete fight that you actually get to engage with. They would make it something you can do again.
That they wouldn't toss all that content in the garbage like the Genshin Impact team does.
Yes. But yeah,
I'm still salty about that.
They'll bring that back. That thing as a high rank challenge fight, and you'll end up getting cool weapons out of it. They'll actually start labeling the thing as an Elder Dragon. So yeah, good fight. Lots of new and unique monsters. I do like the new cephalopod types. Even though I forget what it's actually called, the second one that with the no hole.
The Zuwu, the one with the slasher smile.
Yeah, that one.
I think that's a really cool monster. I think that Shu is definitely my favorite of the two in terms of like character. The other one though is like, well, how many monsters let you cut their tail off 6 times?
Exactly. I just got all the gems. Lovely.
You must have had a gem up on that one.
Oh yeah, I burned a lucky ticket.
Yeah, I gotta go brilliant gems for that one. Lucky tickets, I think, only influence the Zen.
Bleh. Well, you might as well use them.
I haven't looked at the fine print, so I haven't been using mine, which means that they're just going to waste because you can only hold 5 at a time. But
there we go. It just showed the hidden objective very briefly.
What's
I gotta go do one more hunt.
I see.
What's the hidden objective?
Do 3 hunts. Oh, hang on. Did I not get his tail? Oh, it's marked as a rotten tail now. Hang on, I gotta go check this out. Does that mean I can't carve it?
Maybe you get something different when you carve it.
Oh, it's standing in a pool of juices.
Delicious.
No, I just got about horror scale out of it.
Oh, you got a scale instead of a tail.
Yeah, so nothing unusual really.
So
there.
if you let them sit there and rot, they become less valuable, basically.
Seems like it. Zato wants to talk. High quality materials report. I saw something pop up as a new monster. I need to find where that went. So yeah, overall, Wilds I'm very happy with.
I still feel like World was better in various ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But there's time to adjust things and fix things.
Provided they don't go guiding lands on us.
Yeah, let's not do the guiding lands again.
The lack of exploring the world map is still really getting to me, and the fact that the monsters have half the health they should.
Well, it's more that there's not a reason to. Like I've variously, like, I was really tired last night, but I wanted to make some more armor, and I just needed to mine heaps of stuff to do it. So I just went for a bit of a wander, and they are quite nice to explore. It's just that there's not really any compelling reason to do it.
Yeah, there's a handful of hidden things around the world, and a lot of them are time dependent. But
the best farms for certain resources in the game are all in secret areas, underwater and things, because there are underwater sections that I have not bothered to explore yet, but there are. And you can only really cross paths with those when you deliberately go off the beaten path. It's just that you're not really going to be baited into doing so most of the time, and the whole sense of drama of the thing is pretty significantly eroded by the amount of automation involved in the process. And I found this was the same case with the Palamutes, and that it's been exacerbated here by the sort of the Sacred's capacity to immediately know what you want to do exactly that, or immediately know what you want to do exactly the opposite. Like, those are the only two options on the table.
He will try his best and then get very confused.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oops, I need food. So one of the things that does kind of annoy me is the new food system. How you have to keep gathering ingredients and stuff to just keep the basic buffs going.
Oh, I don't even. Yeah,
I don't use them at all.
Yeah,
I just use the rations, the infinite rations.
Yeah, just infinite rations to get your stamina and health bar maxed out is more than enough, because the monsters don't warrant anything harder.
The only really awesome buffs come from random event meals anyway.
Yeah, the ones
Like
that give you like
bone
pro
with calves
carver
one, and yeah,
Yeah,
And you can't control that. There's literally no way to influence it. It just happens sometimes as time passes.
and you're more than likely to miss them because when they do pop up, because they pop up in a notification, you may be in the middle of a hunt. By the time you get done, they may be too late.
They'll be buried in notifications anyway, even if you're not in a hunt, because there's so freaking many.
Yeah. Like
That
just
booty.
then, something destroyed my camp again.
Yeah, those camps will fix themselves over time.
It's probably the same camp that got broken last time.
Usually is because you can make safe camps. On me.
Yes, he is.
I'm lagging like a boss. I can't hear what you guys are saying at all.
Uh-oh. Discord is doing Discord.
I will adjust it. Game and dance is done.
Yep. We working again?
Yep, for now, until it decides otherwise.
Had to tab out to do that, so I got any swiggity swooting on that booty.
Yeah. All right. As far as other stuff this week, I've gotten Xenoblade Chronicles X, the remake, and I've only played a little bit of it. They haven't changed a whole lot with how the game looks. They've just put high quality textures on everything, and that's basically been enough. The game looks pretty. But the biggest complaint I had about the game was that the soundtrack would drown out the voice acting. That's still a thing.
I don't know. It seems like sound engineering has been a lost art. I hear people complaining about that in films all the time these days.
Yeah. Well, if you go, you stream something actually, and it's a big issue with this particularly, is a movie where people are just standing around and talking, or part of the same movie actually, will be very, very quiet. And then when the action thing happens, it's all very noisy. And which means you're constantly turning up your volume so you can hear what they're actually damn well saying. And then you got to turn it down again when it blows out your earballs. It's just, why?
Yeah, I've noticed an uptick that it got really bad like around the year 2000 when people weren't all in the office doing recordings.
Yep.
I've noticed.
Yeah, it's been a thing for a long time.
But even before then, like in 2016 and stuff, the art of sound engineering and balancing just seems to have become a lost art.
Yeah. In the case of Xenoblade X, they're trying to drown out a Sawano drop. You just can't do that. It just doesn't happen.
I've also heard that there's that oftentimes it's influenced by particular demands of like the production industries. Like a movie might be demanded, no, we want this sound balanced for the cinema because we want more people back to cinemas after COVID. And so it just doesn't work on televisions, or vice versa. It's like cinema is dead. We're only interested in the television balance, so it's only balanced for televisions. And when you go and watch it in the cinema, you can't hear a damn thing. Like it seems that there are lots of competing interests now.
Not to mention just infinite amounts of different sound setups.
Yeah, like I've heard that it's practically impossible to buy a decent sound bar for a home television because there's just no standardization of content to use it on that it will work well for.
Yep. Yeah, my folks bought a soundbar not too long ago, and it probably has the most jarring difference between quiet talkies and loud actions.
Thought he was going to breathe on me, but instead he farted.
I mean, for Kongolala, that's the same thing.
Got another wound on his booty. I'm coming for it. Get his woody.
So yeah, I'll have to talk about Xenoblade X next week because I haven't played a whole lot of it. I have unlocked the annoying, cute pet companion who is the worst. But I am glad that the game gives you the option just to be unspeakably mean to him at all times. And considering what he actually does in the game, he just totally deserves it. He is the worst.
I am curious though. What did you actually think of Upside Town, and especially Upside Town, but Meow Wolf too, when we played it in golf? Because Upside Town is an experience.
It's a trip. It was fun. It was a very unique take on just how. Actually, for half of it was how the hell do I hold my controller?
There is no comfortable way.
Broken this tail yet?
It said broken early.
Can't you normally get like most of his tail to like disappear?
Can you break it twice? I saw a tail broken earlier.
I could have sworn that I've seen one with way more tail damage than is visible on the model right now.
I mean, it's possible, but
yeah. So yeah, Upside Town and Meow Wolf had the multi-ball mechanic and a few other weird ones.
Smiley the worm.
Smiley the worm. You go into the worm dimension.
Get eaten by Smiley. Have to say hi to all the little parasites playing cards in his belly.
They're just dudes.
This do.
They're also right in the way because if you want to drive your ball through the in one hit, you've got to get just lucky. Also, we are not going to let you forget that you cheated on the second to last hole.
Hey, not my fault. The game gave it to me.
The game did give it to you.
I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. And Ibu cheated even harder before on the previous time we played that map. he will not acknowledge it, but he legitimately, actively cheated. And when on the last hole, if you get stuck on the leaf, the ball can't ever stop rolling, and it'll bug out and just give you another free shot. You know how it has that little platform underneath the multi-balls where the multi-balls all go up in the air?
Yep.
Yeah, if you get stuck on the leaf, your ball just can't stop, so the game just bugs out.
Right. So you can just... So yeah, you can just keep getting infinite retries of that last hole?
Yeah. And he did that with reckless abandon the first time. So if the game's going to bug out and give me an advantage on the second to last hole, I just call it, not karma, but making up for what it did before. Just
balancing the scales.
There you go.
Gotta peel the monkey.
Ruffle de Conga.
I really like those two maps. I like Upside Town a lot. Ton of fun.
It is a ton of fun.
It is really hard, and there is no comfortable way to do it, but it's so wacky, it's just fun to do every time, because ceiling golf and wall golf.
That first time you step out of the starting building and look up, and it looks like something that would make MC Escher throw up. It's like, yeah, okay.
How'd you do moving around that map?
For just a second, for some reason, I thought you were going to say MC Hammer.
Like, I mean, in terms of color, probably. It is very colorful.
It's a very pretty colorful town, even if half of it's upside down and sideways.
Yes. There's trains driving up the walls.
But how'd you do with your VR legs there? Because I even get a little queasy flying around that map.
I got a little bit queasy, but like I can play Skyrim now for a long time, and even Half-Life Alyx, and have no issues. It's mostly Walkabout Golf actually that gives me maybe a little bit of a quease, a single quease perhaps.
Do you smooth turn or do you snap turn?
A smooth turn.
Okay, so you've graduated to smooth turn.
Yes. I kind of just jumped into the deep end for a while because snap turn was driving me crazy. So, yeah. Half-Life Alyx, honestly, they've put so much detail into the characters for that game because you're right there looking at them. So they're very, very emotive and expressive. And I'm loving that. Even when you're trying to very politely tell this very insane Vortigaunt that you don't want to help him, you can see the disappointment crack across his face. It's great.
Sustenance.
Gives you a head crab. Yeah, that gives you a dead head crab.
You need food for your journey.
Yes, so sustenance. I did carry that crab around for a little while just to see if I got an achievement for it.
No, you do get an achievement if you manage to carry the fucking garden gnome all the way to the end of the game, though. From the very first point, you get the.
Yeah. Oh, I was just standing still where we killed the Congolala. There's a Rathalos here now.
Start a hunt for it.
Can you actually hunt Rathalos? You may or may not, because it's one of the monsters that they don't tell you to hunt. So sometimes you can just freely hunt those. There are also some weird things, like I can't start hunts against high rank Gravioses yet until I complete the optional quest to do so. But I can fight tempered Gravioses. Because reason.
Yeah, is it going to give me a quest?
I'm trying to find the meal offered to me in the oil well basin. But this place is fucking huge, and my circuit appears to be lost. It finally gave up and just teleported.
Doesn't seem to be throwing a quest.
Normally Alma will start barking at you if you try and hunt something you're not allowed to.
Oh, there it goes. He just took some hits because, oh boy, does this Rathalos hurt.
He will. He's 5-star, and you're at 4-star level.
Yes, and I'm wearing like 2-star gear.
Yeah, I know. When I went to fight a 5-star Deshogama with Arasteel, and he was able to like one-shot me because Deshogama can armor down.
Yeah.
And I was wearing low rank gear.
Yeah, there are maybe 2 monsters I've encountered that can potentially get a near one-shot or one-shot if you're gear appropriate. And that one of them's Tempered Arcveld, but he's the pinnacle boss right now. And the other one,
2 of them are Deshogama.
Deshogama can do it, and spoilers can do it.
Guardian Deshogama can do it.
Yeah, well, I count them both the same. One's just white.
Yeah. White, and his balls fell off.
Did I preemptively get the real dual blades out?
Maybe. This Rathalos is angry.
I mean, I can.
Yes, Rathaloses like traditionally are.
Get him out till his tail comes off.
Oh right, Rathalos is a tail, doesn't he?
Yes.
Because I'm using fire dual blades for my baby ones. They aren't going to do crap against him.
Yeah, Rathalos will laugh at your fire.
Get the tail off.
Great sword, I guess, and we'll see if we can get that tail. Although Rathalos, I find Rathalos tails are much harder to cut than Rathian tails. Like the amount of whoops, that was not actually intended, but okay.
Ow.
Okay. Yeah, alright. That doesn't work. He's all yours. I'm just gonna stand back, heal, and sharpen.
I would love to build juice, but I cannot get near him without him flailing on me.
I haven't been able to stab him even once because he's just bucking constantly.
Yeah.
I can't move either. I'm just going to get thrown off, that's all. I can't move, I can't brace, I can't stab. The heck is up with this Rathalos?
He's just extremely pissed off.
He's getting enough juice. There we go. There's enough juice.
Has he settled down? No, not really.
I think I can hit that. I can hit that.
There you go.
Ow.
Ow. I made a mistake. And my game crashed.
Oh, is that why Rathalos just kind of frozen
That's
midair?
why Rathalos is striking a dramatic pose.
All right.
And-
Well, while I get my
this
game
is
going
novel.
again, that's basically been my week. It's work and VR stuff.
I wonder if you get back in whether you'll be able to rejoin.
Maybe.
You have left the lobby, but if you rejoin and we can get you back in the link party somehow.
He should just be able to join off of fellow lobby members if he... Oh, nope, connection session has been lost.
I lost connection as well.
Aw.
I mean,
well, yeah.
The Rathalos is still here. I still have the quest for it.
Yeah, I'm fighting a different Rathalos now, I guess.
Here, I'll go back to town and join Vol's quest.
Maybe the Rathalos is not quite so angry.
Oh, I had to use my sword to block and all my sharpness vanished.
I go in my tent.
Rathalos just left, so the time is ripe.
Yep. So yeah, that's been my week. So Vol, what do?
Not a lot. It's been a sucky week for me. Due to work being a huge pain in the butt, and first thing that happens today is I get a call from work, and also things have gotten worse in my absence. Fantastic. So I didn't play any Monster Hunter during the week. I had sort of intended to, but it just didn't happen. Turned out not to be practical.
It says link members don't have any quests.
Hold on. Let's see. Link thingy.
It says you're still in.
Even work?
It says you're still in my link party.
View link party. Well, it's not my quest, so maybe that doesn't.
That may have been it.
Let's try. There must be a way. I mean, how normally would you invite someone to a quest? What's the normal?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Nobody seems to. I was actually kind of annoyed today because I saw a video where a guy was dunking on people who were making stupid complaints about Monster Hunter Wilds, and it's true there are a lot of people who are making stupid complaints. But one of the complaints that he was dunking on was that multiplayer is too complicated to set up, and it's like, no, that's entirely reasonable. There is no documentation anywhere to explain on how to do it.
Yeah, it's just needlessly complicated. All right. Well, I'm back in the game now. Reset my bag.
I can't work out how I even send an invite to somebody. There's got to be a way.
For the most part, I can.
A communication error has occurred.
Oh no. Yeah, it's been. You just queue up the quest, and then everyone has to go and just pick it out of the list.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're the one that queued it up.
Yeah.
I think it just really wigged that quest out because Fern DC'd.
Yeah. That's Rathalos quest is still there, but I can't. Hang on. I can't actually create it from the board. I need to go out and poke the thing again.
Yeah, it was funny when you disconnected. Rathalos just like his animations gave up mid-flight. He just stopped.
It's like we could wail on him and do damage and stuff, but
yeah. All right, let me go out and poke him a little bit more and see if I can get that quest back up.
Am I technically even still on a quest? How do I even tell? I mean, I've got Hunt the Rathalos in the corner of the screen, but
yeah, you are. You have to go back to a tent and then go to the post join quest tab and leave the quest.
You can't just abandon quest from the main menu?
You might be able to, but I don't know how to do that.
Because nothing is explained anywhere. Oh my goodness, stop moving, Sacred.
I like how there's probably like 20 ways to do everything in this game buried in the submenus, but everybody just gravitates towards the one they find first, so everybody's going to have a different way to do things.
Yeah. Like, I love you, Monster Hunter, but please sort out your menus.
Just sort out everything about your UI. Like, I almost never.
Like a lot of it's just holdovers from the old days where you had to do all private lobbies and everything, but technology's kind of moved along a bit since the PSP.
Yeah, I just returned from Quest from the menu. There is a way to
There
do
you go.
that, but I had to explore to work out where it was because it's not. That's the thing. The categories in the menu are also delineated solely by weird glyphs that don't tell you anything about what's going to be in that category.
Okay, this Rathalos seems to just be in limbo between two zones. He hasn't made up his mind as to where he wants to go yet. And he just went off to the other side of the zone. Of course he did.
Anyway, my week. That's what I was doing.
Yes.
So yeah, that's that. Blue Archive was the second part of the clearly major 2-part event that they started with the summit between Red Winter and Shanhaijing. And it came to a reasonably satisfying conclusion. I can sort of see why they did this as an event because it wasn't quite a big and elaborate enough story to do a major chapter. But it was still bigger than a normal event, so they made sort of like a 2-parter. Yeah, it gives more of an impression like a short story chapter rather than one of the major chapters, because rather than being like a comedy event like most of the events, like nearly all of the events, it was clearly written to be sort of an on theme story. Because the overarching theme is basically, what does it mean to take responsibility, and what does it mean to bear the mantle of a leader, regardless of whether or not you originally wanted it, and what does it take to be suitable to be a leader of people. So it's the type of theming which is more on brand for main story than event. So it was sort of odd that they made it into one. But generally speaking, I enjoyed the story. All of the usual suspects have come out of the woodwork in the community because Kisaki is a very popular character, and despite being 17, she is extremely petite on account of having basically been poisoned and stopped growing as a result. Or at least that seems to be the implication. Yeah, overall quite enjoyable. The event mechanics itself are nothing special. They almost feel tacked on given the scope of the story, which just adds more to my assumption that it's originally should have been a major chapter, but they don't have like a serial follow on for Shanhaijing. Yeah, it was worth reading through. I liked it. But the event mechanics itself are just the same as any number of other events. It wasn't a special one like the most recent Gehenna one, which had heaps of like extra RPG elements and stuff to it. Right, that's that. The Genshin events. The 2 events past that finished this week, I think, are the fishing event, which was terrible, and the advert filming event, where you basically film adverts. I talked a little bit about that last show, but the last ad hadn't been added, so to speak, to the event, and I particularly liked it because it's based on Claran's character event. It's basically an ad for the tabletop group featuring Navia basically being a munchkin, and every time Claranda presents a situation, Navia says, "Can I use persuade on it?" and manages to pass the check every time, and the entire story ends up getting shortcutted because she just persuades each enemy and or NPC they meet to tell her what to do next until she just wins. And eventually she persuades
Oh, go on.
She persuades the final boss to just give up and go away and leave the treasure chest behind.
There it is. Yeah, it's either that or seduce the dragon.
Well, it wasn't the final boss. Wasn't a dragon. It was Cryo Ridge is fine, which is
All right.
planted in the ground, and she's still convinced it to give up and go away.
The power of the
Okay,
nat
this is
20.
weird. It's being very choosy about which Rathalos it's going to let me actually line up a quest for. This one's going to let me line it up.
Probably because the other one is wig the fuck out.
Yeah, I think it is.
It explicitly invokes the fact that she was able to do this because, despite how ridiculous it was, she did roll a nat 20.
The power of the nat 20.
I love Navia.
So the gameplay of the event itself was nothing to write home about, but I really enjoyed the little vignettes of the characters. That's basically my favorite thing about Genshin is just seeing the characters goofing off in their natural environment.
Yep.
Actually, we spent so long mucking around, I probably need to eat again. Where is my barbecue thing? Here we go. Farm to grill. Yeah, so it's only a couple of days until the next patch comes out, I believe. And Aristeel will blow whatever primos he has available. Apparently, the numbers that the new character is capable of putting out are pretty extreme, but they say that for every character. So I don't know if that means anything.
I'm also missing one of the two things that probably make her busted. So I'd have to pull for 2 characters on the current banner to get that make her super bust. She's all plunge attacks, and the only plunge attack support is our girl Cloud Retainer.
Yes.
I really like Cloud Retainer. Like, if I had any interest in building a team around plunging attacks, I think I would probably pull for her. I've really come to love her character over her various appearances, and even in that recent event, which is just the whatchamacallit, the little conversations with people you meet out in the wild. I've come to I came to really like her there, like especially her apparent compulsion to try and adopt every orphan that she runs into for any reason, just to sort of out of an overflow of maternal instinct, I guess. But oh my goodness, I need to chill, mental bug. This is ridiculous.
It doesn't help that we're fighting in the fire.
Yeah, we should not be fighting in the fire, but it's kind of how he do.
I missed the tail and I hit him in the nose instead. That's how good I am.
Pretty good tail up time, but running into problems.
He's doing the wrath thing and spinning on the spot when you're about to land some good damage.
Yeah,
yep, that's the one.
He started off okay. No, he's been spinning. Not been able to wound the tail. There, I say that. There it goes.
There he goes.
There she blows.
Don't breathe on me while I'm battle carving. Oh no, they gave me food carver. Okay, you mounted
him.
Be
at it a while.
No, you
mounted
him.
So if you want to,
you mounted
battle
him.
carve.
You mounted him, so I had time to battle carve.
I might as well, since you can't really do damage when somebody's mounted. I got a medulla.
Alright, bring him down.
Come down from there. Oh my goodness, the camera.
Oh yeah, it zoomed way the F out for me too.
It does for Rathalos, I've found.
I've been hornswoggled.
Rather as well. Sorry, Guardian Rathalos. Guardian Ratha is different again. There's an awful lot of Rathaloses in Monster Hunter. Like a lot.
Okay, Fern, are we crazy, or did they just remove the poison from our boy Guardian Rathalos?
Because neither of us got poisoned by him in our entire fights.
Yeah, Guardian Rathalos might not have poison. I don't think I got poisoned by it either. You got to get hit by its claw attack. I know that much.
Was it claw and tail? Well, it's usually the tail, right?
I thought it was claw and tail. Yeah. I know it is for Rathian.
It is Rathian.
I wasn't sure about Rathalos. Oh my goodness, camera, must you?
Seems to really play holy hell with this aerial. good old camera. Oh no. Oh, he doesn't have a tail. We're safe.
Listen, if you're going to fly away like that, I'll just change ammo to something more effective.
Yeah. He's not going to cooperate.
We'll murder him before Fern disconnects again.
Hopefully that's my crash for today.
He's squabbling with everybody's favorite.
Oh, hello. Gypsaros, eh?
I hate Gypsaros. Like, I possibly hate Gypsaros more than Yankaku, maybe. Uh-oh. I just saw Rathalos freeze in midair.
No, he
resumed movement afterwards, but he froze in midair.
Yeah.
Let's not fight Gypsaros, please. I hate Gypsaros.
I just got flashed off my circuit running over here.
Yeah, that's Gypsaros.
Got poisoned running over here.
I had to hunt a Gypsaros with Aristeel, and naturally he tried to use a shock trap on it.
Yeah. Shock trap doesn't work on the rubber chicken.
Nope, because it's a rubber chicken. But I don't mind Yankaku, even though they've made it seem... They've given it the ability to annoy shield players by just having it gently lob its fireballs over your shield and land directly behind you.
It only has one move that drives me insane, but it does it all the time. And it has the dirt...
It's got as run.
It's like Derp Face Rathian on cocaine.
And if you're a Dual Blades player, it is going to be the most obnoxious thing on the planet, because you're going to be right underneath that mofo, and he has no telegraph for it whatsoever.
Yep, he just zooms off.
Could you stop roaring, please?
I'll poke you.
Down near your mouth. Give me your leg. Your leg. Oh, I need you to get a little bit lower.
Have the same... Oh, he froze in the air again for a second there.
Oh,
he's frozen again.
Oh, no, he's good now.
Uh-oh. Broke his wing.
Oh. Oh. It's his right wang that we need to break now.
Aristeel has withdrawn from the quest.
What?
Uh-oh.
Connection to session has been
Communication
lost.
error has occurred.
Oh, no. That goes yours. And there goes Rathalos. Off he goes. Bye. All right, we won't chase him until you get back.
He's
we're all in different freaking instances again.
He's got skull on him, so if you can kill him, probably should just kill him. Rathalos seems cursed.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't want to see what was played with Rathalos today. Maybe just throw down a trap and be done with it.
I don't think I've got one on me. I'll have to go and I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I do not bring traps unless I come intending to trap. And in this game, there's much less reward for trapping, because they up the drop rate on gems and crap from just killing it.
I'll use a trap sometimes if I manufacture one on site with Great Thunderbugs or whatever. But
I do like you can just net those things and get a free trap.
Alright, come back here, Rathalos. Come back.
So we've all got a different version of the same Rathalos.
Yeah, just total desync bonanza there. On Capcom.
Okay, I need to change ammunition to a solo suitable ammunition. I really don't like how much recoil Spreadshot has now. I understand why, because if you could fire any faster, then it would immediately become the best thing again, like it was in Rise. But it's now got a little bit too much recoil to be practical in most situations.
My Rathalos is down.
Mine is not,
is
because it's
in the
flying around instead of fighting. It's
Yep,
pretending
likewise.
like it's Kushala Daora and just hovering in the air way above.
The
So I can
double
only do pea
Rathalos
shooter
Ruby.
shots at it.
Nice.
What has it been eating?
Wait, is it in the trap but flying? What?
You can guard roars? How does that make sense?
Oh yeah, you could do that in World too.
Okay, my Rathalos is dead.
Mine is not, because it's over there and not here.
Yeah, I
Would
just had
you
to wait for
come
it to
back,
finish,
please?
finish its sky dance.
Mine's just making weird faces at me. Like it doesn't even really try. It's not even really trying to fight. It's just sort of being kind of. It left.
It
Oh my
left?
goodness! Yeah, it just left. Come back! Come back! Where are you going? I'm not done with you yet. Goodness.
Okay, there we go. Just got called back to Fabio.
Fabio.
He was probably a Fabio in his youth. He's a bit old for that now. Come here, Alma.
Oh, the next one's a capture quest. I gotta go get my capture stuff.
I killed him with a slinger pod.
So yeah,
That might actually be the first Rathalos I've hunted, and it was a complete clown fiesta.
Yeah. So yeah, as much as I love this game, it's got shoes still. They're slowly hammering them out, but yeah. There's still shoes.
wait a minute. Power Charm and Armor Charm are back, and I crafted them and
Yes.
didn't notice.
No, you got them as quest rewards.
Oh, I
told you on Monday or Sunday. I said, "Hey, can you help me get my power charm?" And you said, "Okay." And we went and we got my power charm.
I did not process what you said. Help me get my was probably as far as I got.
Aristeele, how do you get through the day? I mean, are you just used to filtering the things the opossum says or something?
Like, the specifics of something usually just stop when it doesn't matter that much anymore to me. Like, okay, they need help. Okay, that's all the context we need.
Yeah. Bright motion shock flashes usually are the quickest way to get it out of the air. Thanks, Zerthus.
You see, Zerthus, we know these things. It's just
our brains are smooth.
We don't come prepared for fights. We go in with our sticks and beat on the thing.
That's what you use other people for, so that you don't have to be prepared. You can just throw more bodies at it, like the Soviets.
And in this game, because of what we talked about last week, you don't really have to prepare.
It is still a bit easy, yeah.
Well, we talked about this last week, Fern. I want to know if your take is similar to ours on this. There's a thing I've noticed before in this game that I didn't really have with World at all.
Yep.
So, freaking shock traps and shock trap, pit trap. In World, you may recall, like, whenever you would go to fight, say, Odogaron, you weren't leaving there without bleed resistance or jerky. And you go to fight, Rathalos, you're not leaving there without fire resistance.
Yep.
Unless you're Volacel in the Valhazak set, and then you're just getting one shot and then getting mad about it.
I never got one shot by the time I got to Valhazak. By the time I finished my Valhazak set, nothing could kill me, even if I went AFK.
Oh, that's right. It had all that health regen stuff on it. or something like that. But anyway,
Yeah, it allowed you to treat empty health bar as red health.
Yes.
so yeah. But in this game, I don't need to take any of the stuff to deal with the monster, and I don't need to go put on like a bleed resist amulet or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Like
just
when fighting Ebony Odogo, you probably should.
no,
But
not
I
really.
feel like they just turned his speed down. Like, I haven't fought a tempered one yet, but I feel like Odogo's had his speed just turned down.
And even then, the bleed take like any love tap from the claws in world would bleed you.
I get bled maybe once per fight against Odogo, but probably more like 0.75 times per fight.
Yeah.
it feels like also when you do get bled, it falls off quicker when you crouch
Yeah.
than it did in World.
And it shows the
I just
countdown
need a
for
ration and move on with my life.
Yeah, that's the other option.
Yeah, it's the preparation phase of fighting monsters is just functionally non-existent unless you're like -20 on a monster's element. You're not even going to consider equipping like a resistance amulet or something. That may be as far as you go if you even do that.
Yeah.
The only one I've been tempted I've been tempted to use armor lock for hunting whatchamacallits, Shishogumas. But realistically the problem was solved just by getting my defense high enough not to be in one-shot zone when
Yeah.
I've got armor down.
Yeah. I know a good part of that, or that is because we've been playing Monster Hunter for a while now.
Oh, I don't think it is. I think
It's like everybody has this impression regardless of
Yeah.
how much or how
Even
little. Because I never played Monster Hunter enough to actually be good at it.
and it's
yeah,
just
even with that said, it's like still too easy. I think they've just undertuned things a bit.
Yeah, the status effects just don't seem to matter as much. There's a generic blight resistance, so if you just don't want to deal with an elemental blight, like water blight or something, but you don't really want to jack your water resist up, just get blight resistance. Make it last for like 5 seconds or not at all if you max it out.
Yep.
Like it's and it just the monsters do not hit hard enough. Even tempered monsters, it's like they still take 3 shots to kill you. That's
Like low rank, the only thing that really hit hard, aside from the frostworm, is Nova attack, because that thing's designed to one shot you if you're not careful. Even then, you can still survive it.
I'm here to tell you, on
Arcveld-
high rank, if you can try and rock steady your way through that thing because you don't see something to hide behind, it will still kill you.
Yeah,
It is the
that's
one
what
it
it should be.
It is a highly scripted fight with a one-shot mechanic in it, though, that is designed to be a one-shot mechanic. It's not a generic fight where you can get in trouble from bad positioning and bad preparation.
Yeah, it's not like Tailstra's Nova Blast, where if you're full health and you're just turtled up, you can still survive it.
If Teostra's Fire Blast was learn to time your Superman dive.
Yeah.
I just built the Valhazak set and it went tink when it hit me.
Oh, it would have gone whack, but your health would have been back before you knew it anyway.
Well, yeah, usually my health would decrease by maybe a 20%. Like when I finished that set. Like I was armored to the nines. Like my kill time on it was 15 minutes, but I was never in danger.
Yeah, and if solo hunts, it's just the kills are taking like 7 to 10 minutes unless your name is Tempered Arcveld.
Yeah. So yeah, low rank Arcveld hit hard because I hadn't sunk any armor spheres into my gear at that point. But beyond that,
Arcveld's always going to hit hard. He's about the only monster Tempered Arcveld anyway, is about the only monster that I think is scaled appropriately.
I haven't unlocked that fight, so I don't know what it's like.
Yeah, but literally every other monster, even tempered monsters, except for spoiler monster, the other big monster in the game that isn't the final boss, just you don't have to prepare at all.
Yeah. Well, hopefully over time that changes.
I'm really
as they add more content.
I'm really hoping there's like an arch tempered version of every single monster in the game that they're planning. or they just nut up and release Master Rank early.
Well, the thing is that this is all just a matter of tuning. Like this is eminently fixable. Because this isn't like they have a certain. You could say they have a certain fundamental problem with wounds giving too much access to high-end abilities, but all you need to do is just make wounding really hard to do on really, really high-end monsters. Like all of this is numbers tuning, numbers tuning, numbers tuning, numbers tuning. There aren't that many fundamental flaws in the design. Most things are just like, oh, but it's all undertuned. Because this is not, there's not like the experience with Monster Hunter mainly just gives you knowledge about how Monster Hunter operates rather than making you do more damage. And everything else is just numbers. Like the fact that Odogo doesn't bleed you, that's just numbers. The fact that the hunts are too fast, that's just numbers. Like most things are just numbers. You can just remedy these things by tuning.
Yeah, it
as
isn't.
Time goes on.
It is an easy fix they could fix with like Arch Tempered or with Master Rank if they are so inclined. And I genuinely hope they do because I do think they have a workable core here for a
But
fun game.
what I'm afraid of here is like Final Fantasy 14 syndrome.
Yeah,
Where they get obsessed with making things really, really easy for a tiny demographic. I showed up and got immediately paralyzed. How?
oh,
It's
your
got
circuit
those
probably
spore thingies all over the place.
your circuit probably ran you through the paralyzed spores and you caught the stinger.
Stupid spitter.
Giddy schwoody. Oh no, I'm not coming for that booty. Oh, now I'm coming for that booty. Went over my head. Make the congas stop eating all my weapon sharpness.
No.
Hang on, I'm battle carving with Carver Pro while you're getting stug over there. So yeah, I really do hope they just fix the tuning problem with the game. I don't think they have to do very much. They just have to they have to put Master Rank in the game and make it.
Yeah, though I suspect that they're going to leave Master Rank to the expansion.
Yeah, or right before it. Did it just get caught in its own web?
Yep.
No, it got caught in whatchamacallit's tool.
Oh,
Gemma's
yeah,
tool.
Gemma's over there.
That's what this quest is about.
I forgot she was over there.
Has wounds on top of its booty, but I cannot schwiggity schwooty all the way up there.
Doesn't have a whole lot of spine to buzzsaw down either.
Yeah, what happens if you buzzsaw one of these things?
Oh, you spin in place for a second. It gives you a little bit, not as much as like Jindahad, where you get the full.
If you're expecting Jindahad for everything, you're going to be very disappointed.
It's a big noodly boy. Oh, where'd he go?
It's running
No,
away.
come back. Oh, my food ball.
Anyway, week. So ZZZ I haven't done very much either. Been more or less a farming week for me. I haven't had time to do very much. Don't think I've got really any commentary to give on it as a result. Thinking if there's anything that I did. Not as of yet, I don't think. Oh, it's sculled already. That's why it's running so far.
We bullied that thing.
But yeah, I feel like there was something I wanted to mention. I tried out like the first stage of the month-long event, the patch-long event. It's interesting. It's odd. I like that they were creative enough to try it. I hope that it doesn't take as long to do as Arpeggio Fault.
Is this the one at the
isometric one?
Oh, that one, yeah.
I feel mean.
But yeah, I haven't finished it or anything yet. I only did the first stage. I enjoyed playing Astra Nouvellette. That was also fun.
Oh, in yeah.
That was a bizarre experience. I mean, I often do just for shits and giggles use her as an on-field character sometimes, and just sort of dance about flinging ether at things. But the modifications they've given her for Hollow Zero are something else.
They really seem to prioritize making sure those mods for Hollow Zero that they give characters, probably the reason they're slow rolling them out, are substantive and come with custom animations.
Yeah, but it makes me wonder if they're going to do anything more with them. I don't know. Maybe they'll introduce some of those features later as characters start to become power creeped out. Who knows? Maybe they'll wait and see what Star Rail does to try and update old characters. But yeah, that was interesting enough. I didn't really understand any of the mods for Evelyn though, at all. And I haven't tried the harder difficulty of Hollow Zero yet due to lack of time. But based on my token farm run for the week, Geppetto is a way faster kill than Bringer is, and it's not close at the original highest skill level, not the nightmare skill level. So yeah, if all you're wanting to do is just burn through to check the box for the week and then move on with your life, that's definitely a faster one to do, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't have much more commentary there. Star Rail mainly has been people getting mad that it's in a content drought, and I can't say I blame them. Like I mentioned last week, my cope for this is that they've got so much catch up to do to try and correct all of the issues with their story deployment that they've reallocated resources there, which is why the events are so anemic in this patch. Because currently the only event is the Mr. Cold Feet equivalent, where you show up and you get free stuff every day. That's it. But yeah. It's nice to have some more applicable blessings in Simulated Universe now, and Divergent Universe now, compared to what it used to be, where half the blessings were basically useless because freeze was not really a leveraged mechanic, and so on and so forth. But yeah, currently I'm working on refining some gear, because when I was flicking through my gear and I realized that my Ruanmei is still using the original gear that I farmed for her when I got her, and the available artifacts have moved on considerably since then. Those are now really inferior pieces, so I'm working on trying to put together a set to replace that one. I've farmed a satisfactory set for Remembrance Trailblazer, but since I don't really have many characters that benefit from Remembrance Trailblazer more than they benefit from Chibi, I haven't really used it very much, except for just for fun, to use it as a bit of a change. But it's satisfactory, and I'm now working on refarming a new break set so that I can use the triple support version. I use the Ruanmei and Fugue and Harmony Trailblazer with Lingsha, so I can run True Hyper Bunny. But yeah, it's taking some time because I've been getting crappy pulls as usual. But that's just the way it is in Gacha. But there's not really much else to do there. I haven't tried the new Pure Fiction yet because I was hoping to try it out once I had improved my Ryan-Mei and my Harmony Trailblaze to see if I can put together some variants for it, because
it knocked my teeth out.
All of them?
Yeah, like, I got 1 star on the final node.
Ouch.
I could not get more than 1. The last node just kicked my butt. I could not noodle
What's
together.
What's the boss in the last node?
I don't know. I couldn't get to it.
Oh. So it's just the sheer hit points? Because I heard that the hit points have gone up by like 6-fold in one of the things. Like I saw a bunch when it came out. A bunch of people were posting on the Twitter because my algorithm follows Star Rail stuff, so it gets random people's comments, and they were like, they almost had a heart attack when they used Herta's ultimate and saw how little health it actually chipped off the enemies.
Yeah, I have completely retooled my Jade's gear to be better. It's still not done yet, but I'm in the process of retooling her, and you could barely notice an increase with the HP on the. Like Wave 2 comes out, and you are tickling the fat mobs.
Yeah, you see, the thing is that while this is definitely power creep and all that, I understand that, and that's not necessarily good, but it's also largely that's not good for the current situation and environment, rather than that it's not good in. It's not that it's not good fundamentally. Like, it's about establishing expectations, right? So if the norm was that the hardest level of pure fiction was like getting your last star on Deadly Assault, then I wouldn't care. Because it's like, oh, well, this is only for people who have, tricked their team out to the baddest and are maximizing in every conceivable way. The norm is not that people clear all of this. If that was where the expectations were set, then I'd say that it's perfectly healthy to get your teeth kicked in by the hardest difficulty. The problem is that they haven't settled on that, and you seem to oscillate wildly between being able to womp pure fiction and being completely teabagged by pure fiction, depending on how close to the current meta you are. And sometimes even then, it's not helpful if you're close to the current meta, if you are simply not a person who gets a bunch of eidolons for each character they pull.
Yeah, and
like you kind of need to do horizontal investment when you have, the boss oriented end game, the swarm oriented end game, and the wild card end game, which could completely teabag you or not, depending on what they decide to put in it. That paradigm forces you to be a horizontal investment person if you want to do all of them. But if you want to be a horizontal investment person, then are you going to be able to get all the stars? Hard to say, because you're not going to be on meta all the time. So yeah, I think that they need to make up their mind what their overall strategy is and set player expectations accordingly, and as opposed to just, apparently moving around randomly as far as their desires are concerned.
I was able to max star Memory of Chaos and Apoc Shadow without too much trouble, but the current cycle is Aglaia-centric.
Yeah, so that's not, you can't count on that to last.
Yeah, that just
she's going to have a lot of advantages right now.
I happen to have the Aglaia team, and this is an Aglaia-centric run. So that's just a fact of I happen to have newest character on meta. As soon as
Aglaia performs adequately when she's in isolation without anything that helps her. Like, she does the job, good and proper, but she's not an absolutely devastating force the way like Acheron is, for instance. Because Acheron will still perform regardless of the conditions, to some extent at least. But Aglaia kind of needs a bit of help. Like, you need to have the perfectly tricked out team just to get adequate performance out of her. Also, I find when I borrow her, because I've been borrowing your Aglaia quite a lot just to see how she works, in case I want to pull for her later, but I just haven't really been quite blown away by her. I know that it's since I don't have ideal supports, but she hits like a wet noodle anytime she isn't quite keeping up. If you can't do that energy thing, she's might as well not be in your party.
Yeah, if you can't get the engine to turn over, she hits like a wet noodle. You've got to get that engine to turn over.
Like, I've been seeing, like, medium 4 figures per hit type of thing coming out of her when she falls off of ultimate mode. When she's in ultimate mode, I can't see for the blizzard of numbers and everything dies. But when she's not, it gets bad pretty quickly.
Yeah, you've got to get that engine turnover, and right now there are only 2 consistent characters that can do it without aggroing the enemy and dying in one hit. And their names are Sunday and Wowo.
Tingyun.
Yeah, you can try to use Tingyun, but I've had enough of the Gwynifen problem.
Only for one round. As soon as the enemy gets a turn, like, you think Gwynifen is bad. I mean, the
Fern has a quest up.
Tingyun has the lowest base hit point in the game.
Yeah, like, but speaking of, I can interject this here, I guess. New banners were up. One was a Nikki Boy, so it's an immediate no pull. I've already pulled too many of those, and I don't like it. Like that I've had to. The other one, however, was a trembling ball of adorable.
She really is just incredibly adorable. She's probably like 300 years old, but she's still adorable.
Doesn't act like it.
Well, I mean, they definitely seem to mature rather slowly in the Lofu. Like, you can be hundreds of years old and still act like a little kid. Like, Yunli and whatchamacallit, Yanqing are quite old by non-Xianshou standards, but they're still, bratty kids in practice.
Yeah, the wonderful little ball of adorable, she here's the thing with Wowo. Wowo is really strong, even if you don't do anything to get help for her. Like, if you just have base Wowo, you're gonna be okay. But her E1
Somebody save me. Oh, okay. If you're just gonna have a lie down on the ground, it'll be fine.
I broke a wound and knocked it over. Ah!
What's the point of giving me poison pods against a Nacilla?
I don't know. I'll use them anyway, though. Hey, poisoned it.
Huh.
Oh, is this a frenzied Nacilla?
Yes, it is. Don't forget to get rid of your frenzy.
I'm like, I see this little bar over my head. Oh, need to fix that.
Yeah. You should not ignore that little bar. It'll make life harder for you if you do.
That's fine as long as you keep hitting things. Just don't ever stop hitting things. Ever.
There's one thing Dual Blades is very good at. Yes, we don't stop hitting things.
Rude.
Hey, get your booty back here. I was about to schwiggity schwooty. But yeah. So her E1 is insane.
Oh, by the way, people suspect that these are bugged frenzied monsters because their health pools are like half of a regular monster.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that one died easy.
I don't think Capcom have made any comment on the matter yet, though.
Yeah, that Nacilla went down really quick.
But yeah, yeah, I still want to know if dual blades are bugged or not. Like, is it just a nerf that you didn't give us same modifiers on element with demon mode, or is it actually a bug? Are we supposed to be top tier? Even if it is a bug, we're doing well enough at middle of the pack without it that if you unbug it, you'll probably break us.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Wowo. Holder, it didn't go good. I had a pretty good backlog at Jade. I don't anymore.
It was a 3-minute kill. I've seen a video clip on Twitter of somebody killing a frenzied Yankitku faster than it takes to complete cooking a steak.
That's kind of nuts.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like there's something wrong under the hood there.
Yeah.
Oh, the Jade Gods abandoned you, RSTL.
Oh yeah. So I got Welt on the lost 50-50. Had to go all the way to hard pity for the losing 50-50.
No dat feel. In fact, no dat feel twice.
And had to go really deep for the second one. And finally got her on the guarantee on the second one, but it was.
At least it wasn't Jeopard. Actually, Jeopard's probably more useful than Welt at this point, because Welt was a Nihility DPS. Like, he was the original DPS to go with Nihility builds, and let's just say that he doesn't do the job no more.
Nihility kind of shifted in design.
he it's not even just that it shifted in design. Like, his design was only like one notch above Destruction Trailblazer in terms of level of complexity and scalability. He just got left behind so hard.
Yeah.
It's all about scalability, really. Like, and for some characters, like for Yanqing's design got left behind. There is no way to keep him from getting hit because taunt ceased to be a thing, more or less. I mean, it's back again because Mighty can taunt, but it was sort of seemed to be hanging in the air that taunting was going to be the primary tanking mechanism of preservation characters, but then Aventurine existed.
Yeah.
And destroyed the tanking paradigm entirely. So that sort of went on the back foot, and since he was basically an exacerbation of Fu Xuan's design, which was a novelty, and Fu Xuan could still be killed. Aventurine was just a Fu Xuan that doesn't get killed ever. So it ended up being that preservation sort of vanished for a while. But that basically meant Yanqing couldn't be used because Yanqing requires that he never get hit. And so when the only other thing he's got going for him is mediocre damage, he basically falls behind the curve. Well, falls behind the curve because of his numbers not being high enough. It's as simple as that. Same deal, Blade can't be made good. Sele can't be made good. A lot of these characters are just, they're suffering because their numbers are too low. They moved forward with the number generation way too fast, and there's no way to fix those except to adjust their numbers or redesign their kit to give them new mechanics that have bigger numbers. That's basically all there is to it. But yeah, a lot of them are just numbers based. Yanqing is like archetype doesn't exist to accommodate him. The only one that was scalable was Himiko, really, and to a lesser extent Clara. There's still people that main Clara in like Memory of Chaos and stuff because you can build around her if you want and still get mileage out of Help Me Mr. Svarog. It's possible. But ones like Yanqing and Velt, and that really can't be built around. There's not really a way to do it. There are people around who have like E6 Zele and they still use her in Memory of Chaos with success, but that's because they have E6 Zele and most of them are still kicking themselves over pulling for E6 Zele, spending like $2,000 on it, because they're crazy. But they could also, I guess, just be huge Zele fans since Zele has a huge fandom from Honkai Impact 3rd. But yeah, it's everybody is waiting with bated breath to see any movement on the bring old characters back thing. But there has been basically not a trace of rumor out of closed beta of any work actually being done on that as of yet. And several other things have been leaked, like the new banner system that they're implementing where you get to choose what your 50-50 fails are going to be, in the sense that you choose your roster of I didn't win the 50-50. That's been leaked, but they've also leaked, it's also been leaked that Jing Yuan is not going to be on there. He's not going to be an option on there, and possibly because he's too meta right now because he's got a summon. And also oddly, Silverwolf. which is an interesting decision because Silverwolf is likely to be relatively aggressively power crept by Anaxa. Likely, not clear yet since Anaxa's kit hasn't been finalized, and the Castorus Anaxa beta is on like its 9th iteration now. And they keep adjusting the kits. But yeah, it's likely she's going to be power crept out of relevance. So the fact that they're keeping her off that banner choice is kind of interesting. Maybe they're going to make her one of the first characters that gets, the bump into modern relevance or something like that. Hard to say. But yeah, unfortunately the Castorus kit basically hasn't seen any major mods since version 4. Just a few numbers tweaks up and down. She still has the account wide res thing, which a lot of people are not very happy about because it's another move on the order. It's a worse move than the one of Acheron from a certain point of view, because Acheron's technique design is basically screwed with their world encounter design, and adding a res mode to Castorus is going to basically bugger up their survivability system unless they limit it very aggressively to this does not work in pure fiction, this does not work in Memory of Chaos, this does not work in wherever. Without limitations, it's going to make design very iffy.
Yeah.
Unless it just brings them back with 1 hit point or something so that they fall over immediately when they take damage, then you might be able to get away with it. But even then, it's still going to screw with encounter design pretty badly. And this lack of foresight is the thing that really seems to be characterizing their design team, and it's kind of concerning.
Yeah, they in the few interviews I've seen with them, they seem to just do stuff willy-nilly because they thought it was cool at the time and don't think about the implications.
Yeah, so that particular trait was in the current CBT version. So there were about 3 versions of Castorus' kit before CBT began in earnest, and CBT is now up to version 5, and version 6 is already sort of definitely going to exist based on the leaks. But that res thing has been in there since version 3, so it's been preserved for 2 versions so far. I don't think it's needed. I don't think that there's anybody who it seems like it's too cynical, right? Because virtually everybody who can afford to pull Castorus is going to pull Castorus. There's not many people planning to skip her. People who are skipping her because they really, really just don't like her as a character, they're not going to pull even if you put a res on. But basically putting the res on is going to bait a lot of people into feeling like they've got no choice.
That's the boat I'm in.
That changes the paradigm outside of an individual team.
That's the boat I'm in, because my roster isn't like it is in ZZZ. I have huge glaring holes that 4 stars need to fill, and sometimes there are just bosses that will just give me a zillion false starts in Apocalyptic Shadow until I can finally get off the ground.
Yeah, and the thing is that they've put corrosive things in the past, like Aventurine, and then proceeded to fail to design around them. Like your party dying once Aventurine is in the party is not a mechanic. It doesn't exist. Contrary to what people say online, I don't really see how they can manage to have TPKs when they've got Aventurine as their sustain.
They actually had to run some.
That it happens.
They had to run some defense for a while instead of going full DPS Venturine and still being immortal. Oh no, yeah, the horror.
Kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know what they think they're doing. Just because it's a cool idea doesn't mean it's a good idea. Going out in a blaze of glory is not better than, having a game that lasts for an extended period of time. I don't understand why they are so recklessly gung-ho. There's something to be said for being willing to be adventurous, but I would like for them to put their adventurousness somewhere else, not in kit design.
Not to the level they've done, at least.
I think that a character's abilities, if you are not doing Genshin Impact, where you are actively using a character qua that character as a method of exploring the world, I think that the characters should not affect anything outside of combat. You should not have ways for characters to reach outside their team. Like if their ability to res with Castoris applies to Castoris' team, that's fine. It's maybe a little bit too powerful, but you can balance around it, and Castoris won't be in the meta forever, and not everybody will have her, so it's not going to destroy the way the game is designed. But if just her sitting in your account gives you an advantage, 10 years from now, still giving you an advantage, well, then you are not designing for now, you're designing over top of what you might want to design later. It's not safe.
Never mind.
Not reasonable.
Never mind the can of worms this opens anytime Hoyo decides it needs money.
Yeah, this is. I think that. I think that they won't let that be an overriding thing. Like, this seems to be a product of recklessness, not a product of being told you need to get your freaking numbers up. I don't think they're being told that yet. If they're being told that, then that's very, very strange, because they should be telling that to the ZZZ people and the polychrome fountain that they have pointed at me. Because I have NB, Soldier Zero NB, and Soldier Zero NB's signature W engine, and I still have 53,000 polychrome in the bank.
Yeah, they just point the polychrome hose at you. Like, the part of the reason I don't mind spending money on ZZZ is because they give me enough to be like, all right, it's not that much to go ahead and just get the character for the 3 characters I paid for now. I can't do it again. It's too much.
But this is why I'm like, this can't be a cynicism thing, because all they would need to do would be to gradually throttle back on ZZZ, and the people who are now invested in ZZZ will find a way to supplement it when they start losing 50-50s, right? They've been so generous in that game that there's not really any reason why they shouldn't use that as their throttle. But Honkai Star Rail is still doing just fine, largely because of the hysterically toxic community and their predilections. But that doesn't seem to me like the issue. I think the issue is that they feel a little bit straitjacketed by the genre and its limitations, and that is spilling over into recklessness instead of into creative solutions.
Yeah.
I think they're just not vetting their ideas hard enough. That's all there is to it. Unless they intend to just, like, over time get so wild that mechanics become such an incomprehensible mess that actually discerning the meta is going to be like playing pickup sticks. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think people will keep up with a paradigm like that, because it'll require too much pulling, and they aren't quite as generous. Like, they're more generous than historical Genshin, but they're less generous than ZZZ when it comes to premium currency.
ZZZ is kind of an outlier for all the Hoyo games, even for Impact Third, where just their events are long, but they pay out proportionally in ZZZ, and this means you just get fountained with polychromes.
Well, Honkai Impact Third is a different beast, because there's no 50-50 in Honkai Impact Third. You only get a small amount of premium currency, and each temple is 2,800, not 1,600. So it's more expensive generally in terms of premium material, but you never lose a 50-50. It's not possible. You always get the banner character.
Okay, so you know the go-in price. If you need to go to,
like, if you want let's not discuss the actual premium currency system, because it is ancient, like literally 8 years old or whatever, with like a million things layered over top of each other, and now makes no sense whatsoever. Like, there are actually guides online as to how to buy currency for Honkai Impact Third without getting screwed, because there are heaps of ways to buy it wrong that are just legacy things. But yes, there is a fixed buy-in for any given character or weapon, because you cannot lose 50-50s. If you want to just buy a character outright, you can guarantee that you do it in a certain number. And it's, half the number of pulls that it would be in the other games, in exchange for being nearly double the premium currency cost. But yeah, that getting back to Honkai Star Rail, I think that this is a design logic problem. Like, their pipeline for how they get an idea from draft to complete doesn't have enough vetting steps along the way, and doesn't have enough foresight. It's just about creating a splash and creating a hype. Like, they basically are trying to operate off pure hype engine. So, oh, this character can do this incredibly cool thing, everybody should pull for it now, type of thing. I don't think it's about trying to create I honestly don't think that they're trying to create a paradigm where the power escalates every time a new character comes out, like it looks like in certain periods of history for Honkai Impact Third. I think it's just that they are trying to generate heaps and heaps of hype without thinking about the implications about what they used to generate that hype.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is what it is. The interesting thing, I suppose, is that over the last version 4 and 5 of CBT, Anaxa has been gradually scaled down in terms of his output, which is interesting. Normally characters go up and down a lot, but Anaxa sort of hit a peak in 3, and they've just been tuning him down. I think that they're very interested in getting Anaxa exactly right, because the data miners have said that there's nearly a year's worth of releases that are sort of drafted in the database that contain no erudition characters after Anaxa. So he's going to be the last major erudition banner character for a long time.
After this current erudition bump we've had, they're going to put it on the shelf for a while.
Yeah, basically, I think that they are going to let the Herta be the erudition tentpole character for an extended period, in conjunction with Anaxa, because you can build erudition around Anaxa, and you can build erudition around the Herta, and you can build erudition around them both. And there's this guy who managed to clear the last whatchamacallit MOC against Nikador using Serval Hypercarry. So erudition is in a very stable place right now. And erudition has a very well-defined position. The Herta is incredibly powerful, it's true, but she does not perform well in single target. It's just the way of things. And you wouldn't expect her to. There's nothing strange about that. But I think that it's okay to leave it for a while, especially since between Anaxa and the Herta. What do you mean session is full?
What?
Did you set a max? What are you doing? You put a max character cap?
Yes, there's a max party size of 2.
Here, I can't.
It's an event quest. It's an event quest. It looks like an event quest.
Might be.
If you queue for an event quest with a limit of 2, then only one of us can join you. So
you gotta cancel it and expand the limit on your thing.
Or if you even can for an event quest, I don't even know.
That's a good question.
Well, it's for a Palico equipment quest, so that's probably why.
Oh, if it's giving you Palico special roles or whatever to do, then you can't put us in there because it would make the Palico disappear.
Yeah. I'll put that one aside for later then.
Yeah, so it looks like, based on data mining, and of course that's all hyper subject to change. I mean, if the writers come up with a character this character clearly should be erudition based on the way they are written, well, then they'll have to just change their mind. And it's true that Custoris and Aglaya were destruction in the database originally. They were not Remembrance, because Remembrance wasn't in the database. So yeah, all of that is subject to change. But yeah, it's interesting anyway, and it could be that some of those slots that make it maybe it's more in terms of the database, it could be that it looks like a year's worth of slots in the database, and none of them are erudition. But it also could be that erudition characters are all doing really well right now, and some of those other slots are actually for revised versions of existing characters, so it doesn't actually account for a whole year, or something like that. But yeah, so it looks like the general gist of Anaxa's kit and Custoris's kit is pretty much done, and it's a matter of deciding, how loud are they going to go with the numbers on that. The next set is the Elite Sustain Drift Out for Hyacinth and for Cypher. That is to say, the eternal idol of Amphorius and the Amphorius version of Pardophilus. And so Hyacine, basically, people are saying at the moment she is like a much narrower, more powerful version of Hoyo. Like, she's a much better sustainer than Hoyo, but basically only works in teams that drain HP. So, way less flexible, but good in her niche type of thing. So if the character gains benefit from losing health, then in theory, Hyacine will be a better healer. But they're still in the prototype build, like the official CBT isn't launched for that version yet. And for Cypher, basically she's a follow-up attack nihility character, essentially, whose follow-up attacks basically she seems to be single target focused, and her debuffs basically cause a portion of the damage that the target that has the debuff to get banked, and then her follow-up attack will discharge that. So tuning her position in your team's rotation is basically the trick there, as far as I can see from the early leaks.
And we'll post in the live show chat.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's disappointing that Barbara is going to be not generic. I would have pulled for her if she was generic, but you just don't.
Well, we don't know for sure what it's going to be in the end. After all, like I said, CBT hasn't even started yet, and Castoris's kit was scrapped entirely twice before her CBT even started.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I have invested in Wowo at this point. The girl has earned it. She has been the thing keeping my account alive until I got it venturing, and she still has an active, prominent role in the in-game content. That E1 is just so powerful.
I'm really kind of looking for that character that I want to go all in on and obsess over the way I do with Ningguang.
Yeah, there's no carry or damage dealer like that I'm particularly attached to. Like, Wowo's the closest thing I got something I'm attached to a character with, but Wowo is a healer. Wowo's not going to be the thing that... She's not the engine. She can help the engine turn over, but she's not the engine
usually
itself.
that character is going to be a hyper carry for most people. But the one that I spend the most time... historically have spent the most time molding over her gear is probably Lingsha. And Lingsha is also a healer, in theory.
Lingsha has bunnies.
Lingsha's bunnies, on the other hand, have other ideas about her role in the team.
Wowo has a fan.
Wowo has the power of being just sort of generally adorable, though.
I mean, if she could, like, knock an enemy with her knees as much as they shake, she could probably kick them into the stratosphere.
I love how you can hear that.
Yes.
You can hear her knees knocking.
But yeah, I'm now all in on Wowo as being a stable member since I've got her at E1. I looked at her light cone and I was like, maybe if I don't go too bad on the pulls for Wowo, but the Wowo pulls went really bad, so that was off the table. And her light cone's not a super huge upgrade; it's more energy regen. So, but that would be nice. I can get her engine to turn over as long as her or Aglaya gets hit with just a few attacks. I can still keep the engine turning over. So it's not that big a deal. It would just be a quality of life thing. But her E1, however, can stop fights from turning dead in the water.
I was like, why am I doing so little damage? And then I realized you were on it.
Yeah.
Oh, do you guys have a quest posted? I didn't see it pop.
Yeah, we got Valahara's on.
I don't even, what even is this event? Oh, this is quest. Is this an event quest or? I don't think I've done this one.
One of the arena ones, yeah. Even though they don't actively call it the arena this time around.
It's got an RP name.
It's a prayer ground or something.
I got slimed.
But yeah. I don't think I've actually explained what E1 does. It's increases the speed of the team by 12% and gives her another turn on her mechanic, which goes towards stopping the false starts that I've complained about a lot.
But yeah, whoa, still officially adorable. Okay, fine, I'll just sit it out then.
Did I accidentally close the gate on you?
Is there even a witch beetle or anything?
I thought we tried to find a way around this. Like, what if somebody accidentally triggers the gate and gets somebody stuck on the other side? Is there a way to pull it down or get over it?
Can I just climb up the gate? No, I can't. Even though it looks way more climbable than many of the climbable surfaces in this game.
Can you circuit climb it?
No. Oh, hold on. Yep, there's a brown patch that you can climb. There's like ropes, if you look at it, that are tied around some of the...
I see.
You can climb those patches. You can't climb the rest of it.
Okay, so... Okay, so there is a way to not get totally locked out, because that would be the oversight of the century. You couldn't get over that thing.
Why am I using PS ammo? This is a bad gun for that.
Ow.
Have you got its tail off? I can't tell.
Yeah.
It stop moving long
It
enough.
just went off.
Okay, where is it?
So it's where I'm at. Look for the pink.
I won't get fooled again. Oh, damn it.
Hey. He was spewing juice when I came running down, trying to come down the slope.
Yes, and I tanked it with my face. But yeah, so I don't think I've got much else to talk about that isn't Monster Hunter related, because I did play some Monster Hunter with Ari before my weekend ended. I was sort of expecting that was going to happen this week as well, but with everything having gone pear-shaped at work today, I might have to end up destroying my free time on my day off. I need to find another job.
Yeah. At this point, I think it's just get what you can and go.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll transition into my week. I'll skip the Monster Hunter till the end of the week, and we can move Monster Hunter generically to end of the weeks after we do start this is email at the non-Monster Hunters. So,
all right.
We'll have that stupid meal going with carver bonus. I guess I was sitting in the town and meal timers don't count down then.
It's also those meals last for ages, so
yeah. So my week. Not a whole lot of Monster Hunter during the week. Because I'm kind of waiting on them to get caught up to where I'm at. Not that there's anywhere further ahead I could pull, because the game kind of stops once you get to the in-game tempered stuff. In terms of content you can progress to, but yeah, we talked about. I interjected my Hoyo stuff with Fall. I played. I brought ZZZ and Star Rail back. I'm waiting a few days on Genshin before I get back into that. I should be good tomorrow because I want to get the return bonus because I've been not playing for so long. I think I need one more day to get it.
Yep.
How long does it take to get returner bonuses going on Hoyo games?
14 or 21 days, I forget. I think it's 14. But it might be 21. Don't quote me on that. So yeah. I have my returner bonuses coming back into Star Rail, turned it into just farming simulator. Got my Wowo. Totally refarmed her gear because she had been behind, although she hadn't needed it. But since I'm now invested in her and she's going to be sticking around for a while.
Or like my Ryan May, where she was using the best gear that you had at the time way back when.
Yeah, and now I use my returner bonuses to completely refarm her gear and get started refarming Jade's gear because Jade was using a hand-me-down of the sets you get from just generic crap in Pinacone because you get so much of it. The follow-up attack set, the Ash set, or the Ashborn set, whatever it is, the Fiery Duke set.
Ash Blazing Red Duke?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, she was using that, and that's not optimal for Jade. You can use it. It works. But it's a solid 10 to 15% behind her other sets. Her best
really?
set... Yeah, apparently.
It seems like a lot. Like, I mean, I know that Poet of Morning Collapse is at least sort of like drawn level. I didn't realize that it had passed it.
Yeah, and now keep in mind these are Star Rail guides that get updated all the gosh dang time, and you have no idea what they're accounting for when they give their percentages.
Most of the calculation sheets I've seen will state either E0 S0 or E0 S1.
Yeah, well, Jade is also team dependent, very team dependent, because of the way she works. She needs a partner. So yeah, I've trying out swapping her to the other set, the slow Jade set.
Morning Collapse.
Yeah. For two reasons. One, I have a ton of this set just laying around that I'm not doing anything with because I got a whole bunch of this while trying to get the other set, and the other set was mean to me.
Yeah, I probably have gear lying around for it as well because Tribby scales with HP, so if it wasn't HP rich, I didn't need it.
Yeah. So,
it's a set that was ostensibly introduced for Tribby.
Yeah. But it works for Jade. I think her best set is actually the Quantum set if you are fighting Quantum Weak enemies, but I wanted something a bit more generic because Jade is my only erudition option. Wowo got totally retooled. Her gear is now really good, except for her gloves and hat. The specific pieces weren't that bad to farm for once, but the gloves and hat are playing really mean. So yeah, that's Star Rail, just in farm mode. Have not progressed the main story or done anything. ZZZ. Don't have much to comment on, even with the new Deadly Assault out. I'll wait till Vol's caught up on it. I think I think Zarathus talks a bit about that in his email, so we'll save that. And then Genshin I have not come back to yet. That's the Hoyo stuff. Outside of Hoyo stuff, I have put a chunk of my free time into a game that I found had an interesting history, and I was curious.
Okay.
So I downloaded the original Asgard's Wrath. Not 2, not the one everybody raves about and says is really good. The first one. Now, there was a period of time where you got this for free with the Quest 2, I think? Or no, it was one of the, back before they did the unified headset, so it was one of the wired headsets that gave you this one. But this thing was funded by Facebook through Oculus Studios. As soon as they got the rights to Oculus, they basically wanted a studio to make a killer app for VR. And they gave it to a team, and they gave them a crap load of budget. And the game does have a lot in it. It's a big game. And for the most part, the gameplay is pretty okay. The combat's fun-ish. It has some shoes. But the base combat is good. And the exploration is fun. But it's got some shoes. And all my complaints with the game, I realized, don't stem from it being a VR game. All the VR stuff works great and is fine. The problems I have with it are just a game design team that just hasn't quite found their feet yet. They're almost there, but they just kind of slip a little bit. And these little slips add up as you play through the first game. Most of these have apparently been ironed out or significantly improved in the sequel. But like the game heavily emphasizes gathering materials to craft upgrades for yourself, the characters you control, and the followers that you recruit for those characters. The materials needed are absolutely ridiculous in quantity, but your inventory is limited, and expanding your inventory just increases the diversity of items you can hold in your pouch, not the quantity. So you will find yourself going back to the tavern a lot. And that's a long load screen, even on a beefy PC, to go back to the tavern to drop off your crap. So that's shoe number 1 with the general gameplay. Shoe number 2 is, for some godforsaken reason, you can't withdraw quantity X from your storage. It's the max your inventory can hold or nothing. Like, why? Maybe I just want to take 3 potions in case I find more in the world. Maybe I think 3 is a good enough safety net. No. You're going to take the full 15 potions or none, and you're going to like it. Okay, well, I guess I'll just go buy 3 from the merchant and deposit the ones I got.
That's kind of dumb.
Yeah, so those little shoes like that add up through the game. The combat itself, as a baseline for combat, is fun. There's only one issue I have with... Paul posted a quest, by the way, Fern.
Yep, joining.
One of the event ones. I don't know if you guys have done them yet, but it says that you get vouchers for a special piece of gear.
Yeah. I don't think I've done any of them, so... But the other issue is with the combat. Well, the base combat is fun, and blocking and parrying and landing counterattacks and getting around shields and swinging your sword right and using, like, one character has a magic staff, using that, and one character has a throw-in axe you can chuck out in the middle of combat. All that's really good until an enemy with a blue shield bar shows up. These enemies have special armor where you have to parry them and dodge their attacks until you build up a red bar underneath their HP that makes them do a signature attack. And they'll flash with blue lightning when they do it, so it's really obvious. And you have to specifically parry this harder to parry attack. Put them in a stun state where if you bonk them then, you'll destroy their armor. And different enemies have different amounts of this armor, and different weapons do different amounts of pips of damage to it. And this is fine if it was like for your occasional mini boss, or, you know, just a once in a blue moon really beefy enemy that shows up. But the problem is they just overuse these enemies too much, and so a lot of fights just get drug out way longer than they should. I cannot schwiggity schwooty. Where are me? Alright, well, while you do that, I'm going to beat up the herbivores to build meter.
Alrighty.
I guess I'll just sort of hang out and wait for you to be done with whatever you're doing.
Stabbing it in the butt.
Try and create more than 1 wound if possible. In order to do the dismounting combo, a greatsword needs 2 wounds, but most weapons only use 1. And so you can leave more wounds on them for people to exploit.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the general problems I have with Asgard Wrath. Otherwise, the exploration is a lot of fun. The game is very big. The concept is not super novel, because it's more Norse mythology, which has been, I feel, really overplayed lately. But
yeah,
they take enough of a spin on it without deviating and getting into Wackyville. Like, all the Norse people ain't been melanin enhanced, for instance. They look like Norse people. And yeah, just in general, the aesthetic of it looks nice. I do wish they had gone with something other than Norse mythology, though, just because Norse mythology is overplayed, but that's not necessarily...
What year was the franchise made?
This game came out in 2019.
Maybe it wasn't quite as overplayed then. Like, how many Thor movies had there been?
Probably about 3 plus or I think in-game came out around then, or not too long after then.
Oh, jeez, I can't remember.
But yeah, like
Wasn't Thor Ragnarok that year?
possible. So it probably wasn't as bad as it has been. But
I don't know. Norse mythology has been one of those things that's been flogged for as long as anyone can remember.
The thing was, until about the mid 2010s, Norse mythology was still not untapped, but not super prevalent. The Greek and Roman stuff was way more common. I found in media than Norse stuff. But Norse stuff, especially with the advent of the Marvel movies, just seemed to really take off.
Like people, zombies now.
Yeah, it just kind of took that spot that Greek and Roman mythology would normally hold in the culture, or in the entertainment zeitgeist. So that happened. The story of the game is you are a newly spawned god in the halls of Asgard. You spawn into the void between the branches on the world tree and are pulled towards Asgard. And according to Loki, you are the god of animals.
Why would you listen to him?
Because you're a dumb new god that doesn't know better. Never mind that all of your animal-related powers are given to you by Loki, who is halfway through the game at this point. I think he is still acting like he's my best buddy.
Oh, he will be right up until he stabs you.
Yeah, like we know how this goes.
Chicken is here.
Yeah, Rathian just kind of barbecues chicken if they get in a turf war, or chicken can win. I guess it wasn't a proper turf war. Chicken just kind of tail flapped him.
Want to stay and fight chicken?
Ooh, I guess we can fight the chicken.
We can fight the chicken.
Well, it looked like Fern was planning on doing it. That's why I mentioned it.
I was just poking it till it went away, but it doesn't want to go away.
But yeah, so you're the newly minted god of animals, and Loki acts like your best buddy and is here to help you out in your new godly ventures, and sends you out into the world to go help people in need. And if you successfully accomplish your goal helping them, a little gemstone spawns that Loki really wants. But as payment for helping you find your feet as the newly minted god of animals in this brave new world, doesn't seem like too big a price just to give him this little gemstone after you help these poor, unfortunate people in need. Right?
Oh, nice guy.
Right?
Yeah, that's gonna be like faith or something.
They're like the Infinity Stones.
Yeah. So like the first stone you get, when you spawn into the world, Loki guides you immediately to the battlefield, and the game opens with you in the water in your spectral god form with the glowy arms. And this giant kraken is tearing this navy deployment to pieces, and
as they do.
And your guy, the guy you're supposed to help, is just a braggadocious little cock muffin.
Yep.
And he's hilarious. He's hilarious and funny. I love this little dude, and he just thinks he's the coolest guy ever that totally didn't need your help, and you get the full stone for helping him out. And Loki takes that as payment. And the next person you got to help, you don't actually get, well, you do get to control the fool from the sea after you beat the Kraken as in your god form. In the tavern, he dies after you help him, and so he shows up in the halls of Valhalla as this tiny little human amongst the deities of Asgard, and he just hangs out on the shelf because he's so tiny, and you can possess him to help him out.
Chicken is here.
Oh, the chicken is here.
Also, chicken is here.
And so he has little combat challenges you can do in the tavern, and he's got little puzzles you can solve when you take control of him. He's got his own signature weapons at first because he's so tiny. He doesn't get any legendary weapons at first. He just gets like an almond shield that he gets from a literal almond that the barkeep left laying around. and then he's got a toothpick for a sword. So he's funny, but he's a side character. This story appears to unravel as you go, because he eventually does get a real dagger that he can use from the barkeep after you finish the first little bit of quests. But his story has ended there for me, and I presume it will continue later. But for now, it's still in limbo. And but the first real character you help is a shield maiden whose brother has been murdered by Tyr, and she really wants to go stick it to Tyr. Got his tail off.
Hold on, Rathian came back. Where are you? You're blue. You're blue. Where's the blue arrow? I'm
We went
lost.
after chicken.
Here's chicken.
Rathian's just chilling.
Let's finish chicken 1.
Hang on, I accidentally mounted chicken 2.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm just.
I don't know which chicken is which.
The one with glowy wounds on its back is chicken 2. Down to orange sharpness from the constant fighting. I should probably fix that. Fix that. Oh, chicken 1 is running away.
Yes, the camera made sure to let me know.
Remember to get chicken 1's tail back there that I left.
Where is it?
Chicken 2 doesn't want to give me the time.
Chicken 2 is just... Ow. Why?
What were you saying about chicken 2?
I can't say he's going to be doing something jerky, but he just came and pecked. That was it. So now we're going to beat him up.
Oh, okay. Chicken 1 is dead inside the chicken lair. It did not have very much health left.
No, I didn't think it would have.
So yeah, so your first hero you possess is a shield maiden. And she serves her first part of her story is a tutorial on the basic stuff. With the game, like how to control your god form and how to make companions, which are another sore point in the game. Well, that chicken is there, so you carve the other chicken while we fight the chicken 2. And this is the other thing with the game. Oh no, chicken 2 is going off into the weeds. Where's chicken lair? I don't forget where chicken lair is.
Rathian is in the chicken lair.
Yeah, Rathian is in chicken lair.
Yeah, we're kind of getting sidetracked here.
That's half the fun.
It is.
Want to get the chicken before it rots.
Oh, you killed it. Oh, right. Okay. I'm still fighting chicken 2, you see.
Oh, we abandoned chicken 2 to go into chicken lair and fight Rathian so we can get the corpse.
Okay, well, I'll be with you in a moment. Chicken 2 doesn't seem to want to let me go. Come on. There's a corpse rotten. I'll be back for you later, Chicken 2. I just need to get to this corpse.
Don't forget about Chicken 2. Okay, is Rathian leaving? No.
No, Rathian's in rage mode.
Ah!
Rathian has the Angies.
Oh, we got the Rathian tail. It's doing the forward and back thing.
Tail. Forward and back.
Hey, Chicken 2's here.
Forward and back.
Oh, hey, look, Chicken 2 showed up.
For a turf war.
I don't think Chicken 2...
Who wins the turf war?
I'm pretty sure that...
Oh, yeah, Rathian's just going to kick the shit out of it.
Chicken 2's having a bad time. Sunrise!
Right in the eyeballs.
Yeah, I'm...
This is why I hate driving at this time of day.
Yes.
Where do you think you're going, Chicken 2? You're going to stay in the party zone.
Or not, he's going to run off.
Chicken 2.
After Chicken 2.
For that booty.
Wiggity schwooty.
And Rathian's coming too.
Rathian broke the other direction.
Actually, got to get the Rathian tail. All right. Anything else for your week, or is it just Monster Hunter?
Oh, Asgard's Wrath. I was distracted by the chicken and our shenanigans. Right. So the first character is a shield maiden. She's fun. Has a axe you can throw that if you charge it up, it can explode and fire, and a standard sword that you can upgrade. And she eventually gets an unbreakable shield. And then the second character is a old blind man who you go when you possess him, he can see again. He is very happy about this. Until you immediately unpossess him because you got puzzles to solve as a god, and leave him standing at the altar blind again, and him getting very, very sad about it.
That's just kind of mean.
But yeah, the first story with the Shield Maiden is simple, but it's good. It's fun. I liked her little story a lot. And the old man story I'm still in the middle of. And there are at least 2 more character arcs to go through. And I've heard, until the release of the second game, the ending of this game was considered one of the worst endings to a video game of all time. But the second game has recontextualized it to make it much better.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Oh.
Buzzsaw.
And he's dead.
Well, that was short and sweet. Right, Chicken 2 down.
Right, we were supposed to kill a dragon.
We were.
Yeah, but I need to carve this chicken.
We do need chicken parts.
Do we?
Well,
I was keeping them as a trophy, basically.
Eventually, I will want to craft a weapon that will probably require chicken parts. So yeah, I'm having fun with Asgard's Wrath 1. I'm very interested to see if they fix all the little gameplay nuggets, because these people have clearly heard of a video game before, and they having fun with it. Like they had some neat ideas in this one. They're competent video game designers. They just feel like they haven't found their feet in this game, and they're just missing a whole lot of basic things. If that makes any sense. Just some little quality of life things they really should put in there. Like, you know, you should be able to skip the animation on the blacksmith's up like 20-second long upgrade animation, but if you're upgrading 20 things at him. Like, you should be able to withdraw X from your storage. You should be able to either upgrade or not have an inventory limit if you're going to require this much crafting materials for stuff. Little stuff like that just adds up the more of it you add into the problem list. So if they can fix all that in the sequel, I'll be very happy. but we will have to see how that goes.
Like fun enough time at least.
But I got to finish the first one first, and this is quite a big game, so that may take a while. I've been going at this one pretty much all week, and I don't feel like I'm halfway through yet. Got a Wang.
Sacred keeps getting in the way.
Oh, I'm not sure what I grabbed. Coming around though.
There's a cloaca wound.
Hit the Rathian and the Lady Rathian nuts. Got it.
How did that not hit me? Who did it hit?
I think she was aiming for me, but I was buzzsawing, so it just didn't matter.
That fireball, it hit my shield.
Okay, Wang's get it.
All right, you're carrying one of those, ain't you?
Yeah, and I think they have changed it that cone attacks like that, if as long as you're behind a character who's blocking, will not hit you.
Well, that one wasn't a cone. That was the big fireball, wasn't it?
That was the big fireball,
Yeah,
but
that's
same
the...
sort of thing. It is wizard cast fireball, that one. Ooh, barrel bomb time.
Barrel bomb.
Or not. Here, Rathian. I was going to put that there.
I'm so used to monsters just not going to sleep in this game because it seems like a solid most of them don't. But you're going to bomb it anyway.
I'm just going to leave that bomb there and just see what it does with it.
You had me coming around on the buzzsaw when you did that.
There it goes.
All right, supply items are a thing, aren't they?
They are. They're on your chicken now.
Yeah. Good old counter moves.
And down she goes.
So yeah, don't know if I recommend it yet. There's a whole lot of gameplay niggles. I'll have to see how the whole game plays. I'm kind of hoping that I diversify the combat a little bit because they've been repeating enemies a bit much at the halfway point, and it may wear out its welcome by the end of it.
Sweet, Gem.
But we will
also,
see.
Ragnar the Destroyer is a terrible name for an enemy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might as well have named him Dude the Guy.
Oh, the little boss that you saw me fight, the little end of dungeon boss in that one place. Yeah, I'd also fought that enemy type before by doing a dungeon out of order, where he was a mini boss in that one. So his proper boss form came a bit late. So I already knew what to do. The other problem with the game, the follower system. As the god of animals, Loki will occasionally grant you a new ability, and this ability is to transform another type of animal into a companion, which means it gets legs and otherwise is still the animal. And
what?
Yeah, they like don't go quite all the way furry because they're still mostly animals, but they walk with 2 legs. But like your first one is a shark, and
with 2 legs.
With 2 legs. And
what kind of legs?
Wait, how did I buff people 7 times?
Good question.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what I did. I have to be honest.
Let me see. Asgard's Wrath on the
But you're welcome for all the buffs and heals I apparently gave you.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Now here's the thing I really hate about the Zuck store. Asgard's Wrath is still $50.
Yeah, so here's the other thing. This game was made before we were unified on one quest system. So this was made with PC VR in mind. It does not have a quest version. So it's not in the quest store. You got to go to the WebZuck store. And
yes.
In addition to that, this means you got to run it on your PC, which okay, fine. That's not that big of a deal. The problem is they've also just forgot about the game and it never goes on sale.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
So it's always like $30 to $40 US no matter what. Translate that to your currency.
Now I know what happened. I am apparently running 5 ranks of wide range.
Oh.
That would do it.
So you're welcome for all the free heals that apparently I was giving you without knowing.
I will accept your free unwilling heals.
I see. So yeah. The follower system rears its ugly head in those enemy types I mentioned before, where you have to wait and parry the right attack, because the followers will just keep attacking them and stun lock them. It doesn't matter which one you use. And you need those enemies to hit you so that you can parry their stuff and parry their signature attack and break their armor. But you can't break their armor if your follower is sitting there stun locking them. So it is often better just to put the animal away every time you get into combat and only pull them out to solve puzzles. So that has apparently been heavily rectified in the following game. But yeah, that was a thing. Okay. And that's all I got for Asgard's Wrath right now. There are a lot of little gameplay issues all over the place with it, but it is a fun experience in terms of the base combat and the exploration. I'm mostly holding out hope that the sequel fixes all these, because taken as it is kind of a mess.
I can't work out what this expedition headgear we just unlocked looks like. It doesn't seem to show up really model.
Is it just an eye patch or something?
I'm trying to figure that out right now. It might be. How do I zoom? Can I zoom? Can't figure it out.
Oh, it's like an ear clip.
Oh, it's that where it is. My character's ears are not visible, so.
Yeah, it's an ear clip. My hair is just barely pulled, like I can see the half of my ear. That's where it is.
Oh. Turns out I can counterattack flashes, by the way. Just saying.
We'll have to burn through that quest another 2 times if we want to unlock it.
Blah.
Fern posted a quest and I jumped into it.
Yep.
Oh, did he? I was in the whatchamacallit menu.
Yeah.
Gypsaros. Ah.
Yeah,
I hate Gypsaros.
I need it for a quest, and there's a very angry monkey thing here.
I feel like I'm being mocked whenever I see Gypsaros.
Do you need to capture it, Fern?
No, just hunt.
Not the one we had to hunt. It said capture quest.
Mine just says hunt.
Might be a different quest. I don't know how many. I don't know what quest it was that we did. So.
He resistant to fire? Why am I doing 2 damage? Oh, you're mounted on him.
It's because I'm mounted, yeah. It's gonna happen because that's usually the quickest way I have of getting back into combat with a lance. That doesn't involve putting my weapon away. You know, like some sort of heathen.
Is there a kill mantle bug around somewhere, or I don't remember. Because we're going to end up on fire or something, I'm sure. It seems to be my fate, being on fire.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, great. The worst monster of all time is here.
Which one?
Yep.
The Asura monkey?
No. You can cut coot.
I hate this guy. He makes me miss Duratotus.
Booty.
You smash that head in before he decides to
We got the head broken
flash
already.
bomb us.
Yeah.
So there's 2 breaks to the head.
Oh, is there? Oh no.
I think. Yeah, see, he still blinded us.
Oh, you can dodge
Well,
the
he blinded me.
blind.
I can block the blind. Yeah.
Well, being able to shelter under your shield kind of makes sense in this case.
It does.
Dodging, not so much.
Not so much.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
If you break his head once, he's got a chance of misfiring his flash. If you break it twice, I think he always misfires it.
You break his tail and stop it stretching, is that a thing?
Oh right, he's immune to
No.
flash.
For obvious reasons.
I don't know. The poisonous spider isn't immune to poison. Its own poison, no less.
I accidentally used a potion instead of an antidote.
Oh, I dodged too early. It was out of stam. Oh, hi, Rathian.
Oh, hello, Rathian.
Was I able to cleanse your poison by drinking an antidote?
I think. Oh, Rathian,
That's handy.
Look at that thing's face.
Head broken.
Break number 2 on the head.
Yep, his knocker thing's gone now.
Now let's get rid of that stretchy appendage.
Can you break the tail?
I don't know.
Don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think you can break the tail. I tried to cut it one time and could not get it.
Well, I know you can't cut it. The question is not whether you can cut it. The question is whether you can stop it from stretching so much. Field guide.
Where did it go?
Don't know what the icon for Gyps Ross looks like, so I can't find him.
He's the dumbest looking one.
You know what? You're right. No, the head is the only breakable thing he's got.
Yeah, I thought so. Because the rest of him is rubber chicken.
Hang on, I killed a Vespoid. I must carve it.
Vespoid survived being killed?
Oh.
Sometimes.
In World, they seem to explode every single time, so anytime one fell over, it was immediately go carve the dumb thing.
You had to, if you hit them
You pelt them with rocks from your slinger.
Hang
yeah,
on.
you had to kill them with only just enough.
Lump of blast coal. Oh, lump of blast coal. Aw. That did not go as I expected.
Oof.
So yeah, that's all I got for my week. After this hunt, we will check emails, and in the meantime, we can cover any Monhun stuff, of which I don't have much because I have not played very much this week. Waiting on you guys to get up.
Yeah, but we're both stuck in work hell, so things aren't easy.
Yeah. I don't have. I had the previous week. Things went really well for me at work. It was a really busy week, but I made a lot of sales. This week was not as active, but I also didn't really utilize it for very much. Mostly just got a lot of rest this week. Recoup from the previous one.
Bully it. Bully it.
I'm a-trying.
Oh no. We gotta cut the tail.
Oh, I must get behind it. I can't, though I move slowly. Last time I had one of these do this, it went to sleep on a slope and its tail was embedded in the ground. How did I cut its head off?
I got its wing.
I got Gypsaros' head. But its head looks decidedly still attached.
Has a spare?
That tail takes a significantly higher amount of damage than any other target zone if you can land a hit on it.
It does kind of flop it around a lot, though. Yes, no. He might be a sleepy chimkin. Might go sleep. Might go sleep for realsies.
Let's see. Yeah, he's asleep. Or is this a real sleep? So he looks like he's awake when he's asleep, and he looks like he's asleep when he's awake. That's what's going on here.
Right. Anybody got more bombs?
I only have Wyvern shot.
Wyvern shot's probably going to be the best thing to wake him up with.
But the thing is that the tail is what takes the most damage, so I want to do it from behind him, not in front.
That's fine.
Okay.
He's about to have a. He's gonna have a really bad time.
There he goes.
I had to body dive those bombs when he woke up.
Rubber chicken down.
That's another mission down.
I still have the stupid carver going. I got an extra carve. So yeah, before we jump into the next hunt, we should probably read Zarathus's email that he sent. I posted it in live show chat.
Are you trying to suggest that I should be the one to read it?
I've been fired twice over reading emails, so.
Alright, hold on a minute. Here we go. Okay, so Zarathus writes, Dear No Excuses. So it has come to this. With Farina Get, I have completed my planned roster for Genshin. Ero is still a weak part, but I'm not especially looking for swirl reactions, so until someone worthwhile comes around, I'll be gathering Primos, maybe Skirk. HSR is still in the Gathering Jade for Ryan May rerun mode, already reserved gear for her and pre-farmed trace materials, but everything might change when Castoris attacks. Edit, I couldn't resist and got Hoyo as a battery for a Glire. Having enough Jades for Ryan May and possibly Castoris is in serious jeopardy. And ZZZ did the thing that anyone with a lick of brain could figure out when they looked at Soldier 11 and NB, because in anime, the very laws of reality require that your artificial army must be cute clones or robots of teenage girls. With so many polys in store, went for M1 on Bernice and NB's signature weapon, thinking it's a pretty great upgrade for Archer Boy. I'm not quite so sure on the latter. It entirely depends if I can get 3 stacks of the buff. Still no biggie, I have enough saved up for Caesar. And finally, Wilds. I put off writing this email for 3 weeks because every time I thought of something, you made pretty much the same points on the show. The game feels smaller and more shallow, there's barely any point in exploring the land and it feels smaller, especially the ice zone. Build diversity feels non-existent with the separation of armor and weapon skills, monsters go down in 10 to 15 minutes. It feels like a lesser version of World. Zarathus.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually honestly keep forgetting that the ice zone is there.
Yeah, until you go there and you forget to grab a hot bug.
Yeah.
The thing is that so much of that zone is just really narrow paths. Like, anywhere that you want to get, there's basically only one way to get there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm hammering on this point a lot, over and over again, across 3 shows now, but I really want to emphasize how big a fumble I think it is to pre-reveal everything on the map as soon as you unlock that sector and not give you a reason to go exploring. It makes these maps total. I can't tell you the layout of a single map, and we've been running around this world for 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
and a lot of the maps are just basically loops or a series of loops as well.
Yeah, remember the forest? Remember the tree? Remember the area under the tree? Remember the shortcut you could take
Yeah,
for
like
breaking the vines?
I'm pretty sure I could find my way around Ancient's Forest now,
Like,
even after all this time.
remember the desert? Remember the Diablo's cave? Remember the Barioth puddle pool? Remember the
Oh,
fishing
well, the
area near the
desert I'm
spot?
not so sure about because I would mix up the world desert with the Rise desert.
Possibly, it does kind of visually repeat.
Yeah, basically every Monster Hunter desert looks the same.
But yeah, I remember Elder's Recess. I could navigate that place from the back of my hand.
Yeah.
Like that place is super memorable to me. The lava area, the upper rocky area, the crystal
The
area.
amount of time spent waiting for Kushala to come down from the sky.
Yeah, stuck up
The amount
there
of
on
times that
top of the
fucking
mountain.
put wind in its paths so you couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah, but you could find all these places here. And there was reward for exploring it too. Going through, you would find new collectibles that would unlock new ingredients at the food place that felt like a tangible buff and reward for exploring. Now they're so resource intensive to farm those food buffs, and you don't need them anyway. That there's no reason to go out there ready to get them. You could if you really thought you needed that edge, but the monster health pools are so low, and the knock-on effect of difficulty that has is so high that it just does not matter. You do not go explore for those. You maybe at master rank they'll be useful to have, and you can keep them in your pocket, and you'll maybe want to go out and explore for them. But the natural progression of finding those places that have those ingredients is not nearly as engaging because it's not just a permanent unlock. It's something you now have to go repeatedly reload the map over and over to get. It's just, so many dumb, frustrating things. And even just the raw material farming that you would reload the map anyway in the previous games. Like, discovering big patches of it is something that I used to really enjoy about these games. Like, oh, that's cool. Okay, I can come here. I can route my way through here. That process of discovery was something I really enjoyed. But it's just, you can't do that here. The knock-on effects this has and just compounds upon itself. Now I don't know the map. Now I don't know how to get around. Now I'm not placing shortcut camps and I'm running from base every time because my circuit autopaths there. Like it stacks. The little things like little decisions like that can just have so many knock-on effects. I don't think the developers thought it through very well, or they looked at the lowest common denominator and decided that it was worth appealing to the brain dead for more sales. And since the game has sold gangbusters, it's probably going to be like that. And I get, to a degree, cutting out some of the faff in Monster Hunter. There are plenty of things I've complained about that are faff. The inventory management, the UI, a bunch of that junk could be streamlined, and I would not bat an eye. But some of the stuff that's core and integral to the experience of hunting the monster comes with learning the terrain, and all of that's gone. The scaling problem that we've talked about earlier in the show. All of that makes preparation much of a muchness you can do if you want an easier time with a hunt, sure. But the monsters don't present enough of a challenge to make it where that's mandatory. You could just skip it. Like, yeah, we could go get flashpots for Rathians to get it out of the air. Yeah, we could go get, resistant stuff and make demon drugs and stuff and make our DPS go higher, but the monster fights are so short now anyway, you don't really need them. Like, there's just so many little things I'm worried about with this game that just add up over time.
Well, it's all going to be a question of how do they choose to react to feedback. Yeah. Do they ignore it? Do they counter signal the popular opinion, or do they just take it on board and act on it?
Yeah, and
that will depend very much on which audience they're planning to court, right? If they're planning to court I want everything to be really easy so that I can pretend like I'm a elite gamer, then they're not going to listen to the right feedback.
Yeah, and it's I get that some of this can sound like old hat. I liked it better when it was harder, that I can often get into, and I know Monster Hunter fans often get into. But I feel like these things I'm complaining about are a bit more integral to the process than some of the nuances of the other stuff. Like the things I'm talking about add depth to the gameplay that they just removed, not tedium. Well, and while they do require more work, it does have a payoff and a reward. Stuff like exploring, like you just are removing that option by taking it out of the game instead of making something simpler. The circuit autopathing was definitely. I really wish they hadn't done.
Yeah,
I think that was a bad idea.
Yeah, I appreciate the convenience of being able to sharpen and things on the move, but you lose too much in the process.
Yeah. So that's Monster Hunter. Yes, Wobo is impossible to pass on. Too adorable. Another Wobo enjoyer, and yes, you do absolutely right now functionally need her to turn the Aglaia battery over. It's not happening without her. So yeah, you need both her and Sunday to make that battery that engine turn over, because you can either loop Aglaia's ultimate or you can't. And if you can't loop it, well, your stacks are going to reset and you're going to be in for a bad time.
Yeah, she goes gangbusters if you can avoid that stack reset scenario. But the second that you fail to do so, just give up and go home.
Yeah.
She's going to hit like a wet noodle. You might as well just put Serval in your party.
Yeah, so you definitely need 2 batteries at least. Get her going, and right now the only ones that are really viable for anybody that isn't going for Eidolons or wants their person to get mowed over is Wowo and Sunday. And I got E1 Woho. I like Woho so much, but a big part of the decision in deciding to go all in for Woho, while she was adorable and that E1 is stupidly powerful, it all of it served to make sure the engine could turn over better on the Aglaia team as well, and she is integral to that team and cannot come off of it. Like, Sunday and Aglaia have adopted Wowo at this point, and they are a nice happy family with their pet Mr. Tail. And it will be a very long time before they release a character probably that can suitably replace either of them if you're running the Aglaia team, because of the eclectic rollout of archetype specific characters they seem to be coming out with.
Yeah, I think it's okay in that scenario. Like it's always sus when they roll out, piece 1, piece 2, piece 3, and piece 4 of the puzzle in a row. But there was not really any good reason to believe that those characters were designed for each other. Like, I know the Sunday and Aglaia came out close together, but Sunday's effects are very generic and pretty much directed at summons as an archetype rather than Aglaia in specific. I'm sure he's going to work on most summon things, as anybody who has used him as part of a Hyper Bunny team has experienced. So I think that those sorts of organic teams are fine. I just think that we're still in a scenario where they badly need to flesh out their roster of 4 stars. Like, I think they just need more. They need to increase the roster size by 10% or something.
Yeah, they need. All the Hoyo games are dipping into this problem where they really need more viable 4 stars to fill slots.
Yeah, because the thing is, I like a lot of the 4 stars, but they've just because they are all really old now. Apart from like the one that sees heaps of use is Gallagher, because Gallagher is a perfectly acceptable abundance character. Like, he's just as powerful as he's not as powerful as Lingsha, but in terms of raw abundance, Lingsha's the only abundance character that genuinely outstrips Gallagher. He's really powerful, and that's pretty much the power level that they need to be at, more or less all the time. Dipping back into the old ones is just not that helpful most of the time. Like, I would love to have a reason to build and use Sushang because I like her as a character, but she's kind of a doof, really. But
well, she's part of the squad.
Yeah, the squad. But there's just not really any way to get good mileage out of her. But sometimes characters come back, right? Like the current version of Serval that is used with the Herta is not the original build for Serval, but Serval is still an integral character to that build. Like Anaxa would be better if you're going to go that premium, but most people won't, because that would require you to build a team entirely out of 5 stars, and a lot of people can't do that. They don't have the Jade available. Ooh,
Yeah,
bit off more than I can chew there.
If you really want to help the engine turnover as well, you're going to need to get your Remembrance Trailblazer up to at least acceptable. She's less build dependent than the other ones, as long as you can get her traces up. Her relics are good to have, but they're not going to make or break the engine. But she'll give you even more extra turns to make sure that engine gets turned over. Just play into what you mentioned earlier. Wanted to mention that before I forgot. And there's a chicken, so I'm likely going to forget. Ow. Oh, right, he's a frenzied chicken.
Yep.
All I wanted was that heat mantle bug, but no. Yankuku said no. And now I've got Frenzy Virus. Come on, please. Please dispel.
Oh, I need a weave food.
I think this is the Yankuku that has like almost no hit points.
Oh yeah, it's already skulled.
So yeah.
All right. I think that's. Oh, there he goes.
Yep. Other stuff you mentioned, ZZZ. Yeah. M1 Bernice definitely is a nice playability buff. Giving her more of a gas tank lets you keep her off field more if you really just want to keep her off field. You don't want to pull her on as much. I don't know about using Ambi's signature W engine for Haramasa because they haven't read much of Haramasa's kit. Don't know how they would interact.
I'm still personally very much in. I'm monomaniacally focused on horizontally expanding my roster. Like I'm not interested in taking risks on rolling for Mindscapes yet.
Yeah.
Once I am confident that I have an element solution to each element and at least a healthy selection of team archetypes that I can put together, then I'll think about Mindscapes. But currently, I'm just hoarding because I intend to pull for Trigger and hopefully for Vivian as well.
Yeah. So yeah. And there'll be plenty of primos in the time to make up the difference there. And yeah, I liked Ambi's story. We did a whole talk about Ambi's story last week. So we'll see where that goes. Next week is the Genshin patch. I'll have I'll be back into playing that a bit, playing catch up on the new content and rolling for the new character. And doesn't kick me in the nuts too hard because primos, they're not as bad as my Jade right now, but they're not good. But I got the 3 weeks of the banners up to make up the difference before I have to start considering busting out the wallet. And yeah, I too pull Farina finally, but I've done literally nothing on her. The last time I logged in was to grab Farina, I think. I have not farmed a dang thing for her.
She's another HP character. You don't need to obsessively farm her too much. She doesn't spend a lot of time on field.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even have her trace materials. Like, I don't have her books. I don't have her ascension mats. I don't have her boss kills.
The whole crown / hamster cage pass system makes me neurotic. I very rarely raise my characters all the way.
I try to get them in Genshin to at least 666, and then whether I take them further or not depends on how much I use them. But yeah, I don't even have the green books, so we're quite behind. Yeah, that's where we're at with those. So thank you for the email, Sarathis. And yeah, interested to see where you fall with Wilds and whether you're still playing it in a few weeks, or whether you fall in the same bucket I do of waiting for master rank and hoping it irons out a bunch of the scaling problems. Or Arch Tempered maybe might do it.
Arch Tempered might do it, but yeah.
I haven't looked at what they're putting in the first content drop other than Mizutsune.
That's the biggest thing they've revealed. They've said there are other things in it, but they haven't really said anything about it.
Yeah,
and they've said there's Arch Tempered.
Yeah, well, there's a new level above Tempered. What they've called it. Whether they'll call it Arch Tempered or not, we don't know.
That was something that I really found was kind of weird. Like, I expected the world loop to be in effect here. So you do low rank, and then you do high rank, and then you do Tempered, and then Elder Dragons start popping up everywhere. In this case, Tempered, Frenzy, and high rank all sort of came in a big smush together, and it's not easy to work out what you should be doing. Like, oh, okay, so Frenzy shards come from Frenzy monsters, and decorations come from high rank monsters, and Artian stuff comes from Tempered monsters, and so on. But there doesn't appear to be a very clear approach to the order in which you should tackle different challenges. And then when you try and figure that out, you're like, hold on, but does it actually matter all that much because you advance through hunt ranks so quickly?
Yeah. It's
And it seems like the answer to that is no.
Yeah, and it's because they scatter the tempereds around. The only two tempered monsters that feel like tempered monsters are Arkfeld and the thing causing all the frenzy.
Well, the thing that I thought was really bizarre though was that what is the point of rolling things out like that? Because, like I said, I can't fight high rank Gravios. I can't create a quest for him because I haven't done the side quest, the optional quest, which allows you to unlock him. But I can fight the Tempered one because Tempered has been unlocked.
Yeah.
By the way, it's not a spoiler to say what monster's spreading the frenzy. There is only one monster that spreads frenzy.
Okay, so I was dodging it mostly for you.
Nah, there is one monster that does that, and that was the entire plot of Monster Hunter 4.
Yeah, Gormagala's in the game.
Yeah.
And he's the
and
only...
also the plot of Sunbreak.
Yeah.
And also the plot of Sunbreak.
Yeah, he's back. And he's the other monster aside from Tempered Darkfeld that's the big boy monster. He's still a spazzy little boy that will run you over and hits really hard. And for some reason, he seems to have a predilection to fighting you in narrow corridors.
So,
oh, joy.
Well, the real problem here is that there aren't enough Nergigantes in this ecosystem.
I mean,
with another Nergigante.
I tell you what, Arkfeld's okay as a fight. I like that there are clear defined things to do that take a few runs to really nail down, and he can really womp less experienced players if they don't know what they're looking for. But he's nothing like Nergi was. Nergi was a fight that you really felt good learning over time.
And he was a big old ball of aggression too. Like, he had personality.
Yeah.
Well, that personality was anger, but yes.
Yeah, you could tell that he was just angry to be there. Always.
I kind of feel like angry and having fun seemed to meld together for him, because he just loved to ball up in a little ball and do the dive bomb.
Yep.
I am here to bully you.
Smash.
Like
Are there any invaders in this game? Because I haven't noticed any yet.
Not that I've seen yet.
No, there's no Bagel Goose equivalent.
No
Not even Joe.
No pickles.
Yeah.
No Joe.
I think Joe isn't out yet. I don't know if he's been leaked as one in the files. I've seen a lot of coat posting for Joe, but I haven't seen anything about him from the leaks.
I like Bagel Goose better.
I do too.
He's more annoying, to be sure, but I feel like I think that this is because I don't have like the heritage association with Joe. Like, I wasn't a Monster Hunter player before World, so I don't have special fondness for Joe.
Fondness is not the right word.
But Bagel Goose, well, Bagel Goose, this fondness might not be the right word either. But like, I like Bagel Goose. Like, he's cool, and he's got his own theme song, which is somehow just incredibly appropriate for the way he does business.
Yes.
And he's got his weird noise that he makes when he's coming.
It's just sometimes you just can hear Mattel Interact presents B-17 Bomber in the background.
Well, then everything goes to hell.
Like he made an impact, multiple, in fact, on his way through.
And everybody has that sort of that sound in that scene in their mind where he just sort of plows into the fight all of a sudden with the fanfare, dun 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 dun.
Yeah, which usually flares up right at the point he hits the ground.
Yeah,
Which is it's almost sort of like a spin on Ride of the Valkyries or something.
Yeah. Basil Gaius, honestly, is probably one of the best pieces of work they've done in a long, long time. And that's saying something.
yeah, he was a really, really fun addition to the game. And even though he could be obnoxious at times, and you'd be like, "Go away, Bagel Goose," I never resented his presence in the game. I always would. He would always make a memorable impression that when you look back on it a few hours later, you're like, "Hey, remember what Basil Goose did just now?"
Yeah.
He also just has kind of a stupid face.
He's a tiny little head.
So it's like hard to hate him because he just looks kind of retarded. But I also like the fact that, you know, he shakes off his little scales and leaves them lying around. Like he generates a real impression on the environment as well. And it's not just you that gets trolled by him; it's every other monster in the ecosystem as well.
Yep. Did the Herobami just fall over on its own, or did you do that, Vol?
No, he had a slicing pod that he dropped when his face got broke.
Ah, okay.
So I grabbed it and smacked him in the face with it.
Yeah, he do not like slicing pod.
You shouldn't drop
See?
him then. You do
I
not
slicing podded him.
You hurt his delicate floatiness.
This monster can be incredibly easy to bully if he just chain drops pods.
Or he could attract two of his buddies and just make the whole thing a pain in the butt.
He could.
I've seen him do that a few times now. It's very annoying.
Yeah, it seems like he has taken a page from the youths of certain locations and will prefer not to fight you alone. Am I gonna get banned for that one?
Urban youths.
Yes. He just get his head stuck in the ground.
He
That
did.
is how he do.
He's not very bright.
Well, I mean, if your main method of attack is ramming your cranium into the ground,
Even if you were bright, it's not going to last.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cranium. You want to bring that head a bit down here so I can. There we go. Big long noodly boy.
You can also break his tail like 5 times, so.
You can break his head too. Just as many
but
times.
his tail... No, it's the membranes when it comes to his head, I think. The membranes on either side of his head also can be broken.
I see. Another wound. You are not having a.
He is really not.
Yeah, when things start to go bad for Hirambami, they tend to stay bad.
I think I saw a head broken in that barrage of notifications about this poor guy.
I do like Hirobami. I like his design. I like its armor, but yeah, this seems to be Wild's victim, I suppose.
Yeah, it's.
Well, I mean, it's got to be somebody because Jagras got a freaking promotion.
Yes.
Oh yeah, our boy's now in Apex. He
Fattest Jagras.
He drank all the water.
He is guru.
What is going on here, guys?
That's not our Hirobami. Let's just leave that be.
Oh, that's not
sure.
That was not ours.
No, that's a different Hirobami having a really bad day.
Okay. I guess it's just not a good day for Hirobamis anywhere right now.
I don't think so.
I saw this.
Also, Blagonga. Been a while since we've seen that one.
He's no fun.
Yeah, he's
just a dumb monkey. The most boring enemy in the game.
Yeah, he's
Catacabra's more interesting.
He's just a wimpier version of freaking Kongalala.
Like they put freaking Blagonga in here and they left out Super Saiyan Monkey. Like what?
That whole slicing pot hit his head and he didn't fall down. I'm proud of you.
Well, that's because we've done that to him 3 times now. There's diminishing returns on that kind of shtick.
Sure about that?
Nope. There you go.
Yeah, but that's the 3rd pod since the last time he got knocked down by a pod.
Poor guy.
Sorry here, Barmy. That was a really bad day for you.
But it's just because it doesn't have enough hit points. Realistically.
Yeah. And
the fight should take longer than this.
Yeah, and the wound system scaling just makes it so that when we gang up on it with multiple people and it's easier to make wounds. And we just...
Yeah, they should have just given them proportionally more hit points to balance out the wound system. Because they shouldn't have done anything to shorten the fights. But the reality is that the fights are not... The fights are balanced for there being no wound system.
Yeah, and the wound system... I haven't... Until we started playing multiplayer, I didn't really notice just how exploitative the wound system can be. Where when you have a bunch of people putting wounds all over the place in places that your weapon normally can't get. Because it seems like each area has different diminishing returns on when it can create the wound. So
and keep in mind, neither Fern nor I are running Flare yet.
Yeah, well, I don't have it on right now either. Yeah. I have a part breaker hat on.
Can you imagine a group of like 4 hunters that all have Flare? Or Flare is bugged and having more than 2 ranks doesn't do anything. But you know,
even just two ranks, and let's say that gives you 10% more chance, more wound buildup. That's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That poor monster wouldn't be able to move.
6 minutes. We bullied that poor thing down in 6 minutes.
I did have a weapon I think it's weak to, though. I'm using fire weapons, but even then.
Plus, I'm using a dragon element, so there's that too.
Is it weak against dragon? I don't even freaking know what it's weak against. I use normal for everything.
I think I'm applying Dragon Blight to it, so yeah, sort of.
Well, your
Dragon Blight does something?
Yeah, does Dragon Blight actually do anything?
Increase the damage done by effective elements.
Oh, so if you're Dragon Blighting it when I had a fire weapon,
yeah.
Super body.
Also, you weird bugs. I don't think I've peeled these yet.
This isn't Kenshi.
Says you.
My ship is back.
So anything can be Kenshi if you want it enough.
Exactly. All you have to do is start peeling. Anyway, as far as news this week, there's really only one thing.
Ass Creed.
Yeah. I did not post an article about this. I have not even really delved into much of the post-release stuff about it, but I've kept a casual eye on it.
Well, we had the early release reviews. It all came out, surprise, surprise, glowing.
Yeah,
we all knew that would happen.
We all knew that would happen.
They spent a lot of money to make sure that would happen.
Yes.
But they have also been very careful not to mention anything about their sales.
Well, they came out the other day actually.
They keep talking about They keep talking about how many players they've got.
Yes,
but they have been showering people in free game codes ever since the big debacle started to happen.
Yes, not to mention anyone who has any sort of sense will just buy 1 month of Ubisoft's subscription service to play the game.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah,
on that system, on that subscription. So
you're paying $100 or you're paying 18.
And they've literally been giving it away on social media.
Yeah.
So, how many sales are they actually getting? Hard to say because they keep fleshing out their numbers and heaps of like, if you just say players, you can count every single code that was given out before release for review purposes as well.
Yep.
So there's heaps of ways to pad the numbers, because padding the player numbers is the way they avoid getting lynched by their shareholders, even if they don't make as much money as they expect.
Yes. Let's see. Assassin's Creed Shadows on Steam DB. Right now it has 40,852 players. All-time peak and the 24-hour peak is 60,086.
Yeah, the thing that came out just before release was that they have written a plot where the black guy, what's his name, Yasuke, has sex with Oichi, which I was incensed at largely because Oichi was my main in Sengoku Basara. But
yes,
Oichi is also the ancestor of the current imperial family.
Yes.
That upset a lot of people, and this has been elevated to the level of a national incident now.
Yeah, like
incident.
They were annoyed. Oh, Japan and the officials there were annoyed before just because of this disrespect to the culture and to the shrines and things like that, which Ubisoft has apparently patched out the ability to damage shrines. But now this has come to light.
But in the culture, Oichi her sort of like reputation is of an incredibly faithful wife.
Yes,
because she was faithful to she was like as a tragic heroine in the sort of the mythologized version of history that you always end up with, several hundred years after the fact. She's sort of a tragic heroine who is torn between her husband and her brother, because her husband went into rebellion against her brother when her brother was abusing the power of the shogun. But then when she remarried after her first husband committed seppuku, she chose to die with her second husband rather than escape with her children.
Yes.
So she's got a reputation for being incredibly faithful, and they've just had her sleep with random black slave.
Yes. So things are going to get messy. Like, for the people who actually have played the game and matter, the game's okay. It's very pretty. And gameplay-wise, it's okay. The Nawe bits are a lot better than the Yasuke bits. The Yasuke bits, honestly, from what I can see, shouldn't really bother being there, because the Nawe bits are basically just Assassin's Creed. But from what I can see and what I've seen played, is the game is incredibly padded.
Like Ubisoft game.
Yeah, like we've seen this coming in the last few Assassin's Creed games where they put their leveling system in, and all that serves is to pad. That's the only reason that's there. So yeah, gameplay wise, it's fine. It's just fine. But I don't think we're going to see the real fallout for this game over until maybe the end of next week. But that said, those Steam numbers are well short of where it should be.
Yeah, it seems like for their revenue stream, they're relying on people to buy their battle pass.
Why would you?
And stick with the game for an extended period.
Yeah, but again, why would you?
Like, how many people are just buying this to check out what all the noise was about? Of those few people who are actually buying it, because I heard that it's reached #1 sales on Steam because it's easy to do that. But in terms of player engagement, it's the big new game, but it didn't manage to break more than like 30th position or something in terms of number of players. Yeah,
you kind of want to hit around the 100,000 mark on Steam. Honestly, seems to be the first notable benchmark.
Let's see. If I
and the number of people on the project is gargantuan. Like, it's become a meme already that the credit roll is 2 hours long.
Yes, which is insane. Just how many names are on that?
Mostly Indian names.
Yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds right now has 269,000 players.
There you go. That's a successful game, despite all its shoes.
That's right now, this minute playing.
Yeah. But the other thing about all the reviews as well is they seem to have followed the exact same pattern as Veilguard.
Mm-hmm.
They all trotted out that return to form line.
The we gave you a script. We focus tested this line, wrote it. Read this, and we'll give you a big stack of cash.
Yeah, it worked totally well for BioWare, didn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, how many people are aware that is going on? Because it seems to us like everybody knows it, but it probably isn't really the case.
In the grand
like,
scheme of things, it's not that many people.
Yeah, because it's like sort of like, you know how there's all those people who are chimping out about Elon Musk cutting the fat out of the US budget, right? And like there are videos online of people going up and interviewing the people at the protests, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm just being paid to be here.
Yeah.
I don't care about this. I'm holding this sign because somebody gave me money to do it."
So yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll wait. We've got to really wait for the dust to settle on Assassin's Creed, but the signs aren't looking good.
Honestly, I want to see Ubisoft die as a company.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's going to at this point. I can't see any way that
they do not deserve to live as a company. They are just an endless well of scandals internally. They're unable to innovate. They're unable to do anything but exploit their previous properties. They have a rotten company culture. They do all of their promotion by means of nepotism. There's literally nothing good about Ubisoft. They don't bring anything to the industry, and they don't bring anything to their employees.
Yeah, I know. You've had a particular hate boner for EA in the past, Fern, and it's your most hated. But Ubisoft has always been my. EA may be a close second, but it's always Ubisoft's just been on top. The stuff they do is just so. Even just on the consumer end.
I decided that they were unforgivable the first time I purchased a game and then it refused to let me play it without installing Uplay as well as Steam.
Yeah.
They did steal a copy of Settlers 7 off me. Jerks. And that was about the time I stopped buying Ubisoft games.
Yeah, Uplay was what did it, because it broke everything.
Well, I bought this on Steam. I don't want to install Uplay.
Yeah, and then if you did get Uplay open, it was a horrible buggy mess. And they started directly tying their games and their achievements and in-game unlocks to Uplay. Like, I remember playing Trials, when the latest Trials game came out. And, like, all the motorcycle parts and rewards were through flipping Uplay.
And it's just hot garbage.
Yeah, and it would just break and crash and not give you the rewards, and it would cause your game to stutter and run terribly. Like, on the consumer end, they lost me immediately because of and then all their extra company crap on top of that was just the cherry on top that pushed them over the.
Yeah.
Never mind, their games have fundamental shoes at this point, and that they will not innovate on the Assassin's Creed formula whatsoever, and can only crank out games that have an Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 skeleton with extra bits and bobs stacked on.
Well, sure, they've innovated on it. They changed the name once. They called it Far Cry.
Well, Far Cry 5 was a happy accident that turned out to be not what they wanted.
Yeah.
People liked the wrong characters.
Your Raifu by your side.
You're not supposed to like the bad guys?
Yeah, like even like he was incredibly non-political and super centrist on everything, but he liked Far Cry 5, and he liked all the characters you weren't supposed to like in it. When we went through it in co-op, like that is a special accident, and it was.
Well, this is sort of like Did you hear this? There's debacle this week from the Helldivers 2 devs.
Oh, what now?
What they do this
Basically, time? they came out and they tried to spin in this interview. They tried to spin this narrative that the whole Helldivers 2 thing was an exercise in them proving that they could brainwash the chuds into supporting fascism.
What? No.
No.
It's like, well, this is a very silly line for you to even spin, because number one, if what you're saying is true, then you made fascism really attractive. And number two, if you were really trying to prove that the Chuds are so easily brainwashed, why are you making the problem worse?
Yes.
Yeah, never mind. The only
I
person.
assume came from one of their community managers again.
Pardon?
I assume that came from one of their community managers
No,
again.
this came from way higher up. I
Yeah,
can't remember exactly who it was.
This was a head developer, I think, that put this one out.
Yeah, Helldivers 2 shows the pure power of good gameplay and memes. That's what that shows.
It's also
none of these people comprehend the idea that you can enjoy any kind of medium that contains anything that you disagree with, because they're unable to tolerate a world where there are things that they disagree with fundamentally, and so they think all media must be like that.
And because they're like that, they have no ability, it seems, to separate fiction from reality whatsoever.
I don't believe that they believe the story that they're spinning. I think that they are terrified of somebody else promulgating the idea that this is a pro-fascism game and that they are fascists, and so they're trying to get out ahead of that story that doesn't exist, that nobody would believe even if it did. This is basically the same phenomenon as like Nigel Farage ruining his own career because he's desperate to stay in with the Telegraph.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone who's playing Helldivers is going, democracy.
Yeah.
That's it.
The ability that you can insert yourself into a role when you're playing a video game and just have fun. Like, nobody actually is worshipping the Emperor in real life. They play Warhammer.
Well, some people.
Some there's always the contingent of autists, and Warhammer may have a larger contingent than most. But
let's not quite go that far. But yeah.
Well, the thing is that there are a lot of people who use that iconography because it represents a particular worldview. Like, it's not that they believe in the Emperor qua the Emperor, but they believe in the ideal virtues that are associated with service to a sovereign. And that they will manifest this by using Warhammer speak as a way of communicating that they think that, oh, well, these traditional virtues of bravery and heroism and courage and perhaps even, zeal and ruthlessness have their merits.
Yeah.
But it's not that they actually believe in the Emperor, but they will use that language. But I don't think that distinction gets made by the people who are afraid of that at all.
Yeah.
And if they, let's say you decided to view Helldivers 2 through a totally political lens, like the managed democracy that Helldivers 2 uses as their central form of government, that is a pastiche of what the online right characterizes the extant current governments of the West as being.
Yeah, that is the antithesis of what most of the online right wants. But because of the wrappings of the bravado and the fun space shooter dudes going down to planet and making big explosions, they can roll with it. It's a fun role-playing gameplay experience.
It's like you don't need to take everything in pulp sci-fi as though it were hard sci-fi. I'm sorry, this is not the way it works. I know that none of the people involved in the community that are terrified of this being fascism have ever read anything except for, like, werewolf literary porn or whatever. Like what all the fiction gets made these days.
They're all lions now.
What?
All of them are lions now, huh? All of them?
Oh, all the ones that I've been made aware of are lions now. Although that could be just a facet of the females I know.
It's probably a fad. Like, it'll be a different animal soon.
Why is it always animals?
Well, sometimes it's vampires. Like, the Twilight is sort of an offshoot of that.
Yeah, don't dive into the world of female modern literature.
Modern urban fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, those sorts of young adult romance novels have always been...
They're not young adult romance novels. They're read by women of all ages.
Yeah, but they're marketed as young adults,
and
even though we
No, they're marketed as a feel young by reading this, not like only young people read this.
Yeah,
there you go.
And they might as well, most of them, be labeled as softcore or sometimes even outright hardcore pornography.
Yeah, but they
Well,
can't
it is.
actually put that on the book to
That is
put
porn. It is
market.
porn for women. It's literally porn for women.
Yeah,
That's all it is. And there's no like there's these things exist in such proliferation because, I mean, if you, I'm sure that more enlightened people have spoken about this who know the business, like Korea and that. But my impression is that basically, if you are a male and double if you are a white male, you can't get published. It doesn't matter how good your writing is. End of story. So the sorts of pulp fiction action stories that young men might like to read don't get published. End of story.
a lot of those just do self-publishing now.
Yeah, you either
Yeah,
have
self-publishing is a thing, but how do you like? That's the thing. The thing is that you've got to do the traditional backwards author marketing method, right? Where you have to already have a profile before you start becoming a writer. Otherwise, nobody will ever touch anything you write.
Yep.
The pattern required.
Really lucky.
The pattern required to execute successfully on self-publishing is about as difficult as becoming a professional streamer.
Yeah, and that's if you're new. You can sometimes get away with it if you already have an established ongoing writing career ahead of time. You can squeak by. That's the thing some people are able to pull off, but it's just you're fighting an uphill battle with self-publishing. You basically, if you don't have a profile already, you've got to go get on the ends with people that are self-published already and can drum up hype for you.
Yeah. Whereas, bestiality, rape, porn for women, that stuff sells like hotcakes.
Yeah, women really like to be taken by lion men.
I hate everything about this.
I had to read the entirety of Kate Daniels to a piece of friend.
Why?
Because they would not shut up about it. They kept telling me to read it, and she thought it was the greatest thing ever. And it was woman falls in love with lion man.
Something. Khajiit looking MF is on Space Station.
Yeah.
Space Station video.
Yeah. And now I'm depressed. And or slightly disgusted.
I'm pretty sure I mentioned it on the show when I was being made to go read it.
You possibly did. I may have just blanked out the memory.
You were initially positive about it until it started to hit.
Yeah, until we got to the a female writer is in charge of this.
All right, what's next? Anything else?
Minor thing that we can quickly touch on. I don't have a whole lot of information on it, but I can give you the Cliff Notes that I know version. The 7.2 live stream happened for the producer's letter.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, have any idea what the content of the live letter included, but I did see a lot of depressed Final Fantasy 14 streamers' faces in the aftermath.
Yeah, so I'll go and tell you what wasn't mentioned. Any mention of rectifying the main story, any mention of adjustments to classes other than the Black Mage that I can tell, that are going to help us move back into a more diverse position. Any kind of anything like that. None of that was mentioned.
I heard Black Mages basically press whatever you want now.
So Black Mages are on Suicide Watch. Black Mage is one of the few classes that retain some identity after the Endwalker and Dawn Trail homogenification disaster, and they have gutted it. I don't know the full breadth and scope of the changes they made to the class, but the biggest change they made seems to be that Astral Fire and Astral Ice don't have a timer anymore.
What's the point? What is the point? What do you gain from this?
Well, you gain by having Black Mages able to compete with Pictomancers instead of just nutting up and nerfing Pictomancers.
No, they won't, because they've all hung themselves.
That's true.
They spent years mastering a retardedly complex spreadsheeting class, and then it got removed. So they'll have offed themselves the same way all the summoners did.
Yeah. We've watched this happen in real time. Many such cases. Happened.
Like the original summoner was so sweaty.
Yeah,
It was
And
unbelievably.
now it's the dumbest match the colors bullcrap ever. In fact, it's so simple I couldn't understand how to play it because I kept looking for other mechanics.
Yep.
But there aren't.
I remember Paladin didn't get it as bad as Summoner did, but I remember when they gutted us in the middle of Endwalker, out of sync with everybody else. It looks like Black Mage is on the chopping block for mid-expansion gutting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a mess with that. Positive thing, the new not Ishgard restoration, the space, the cosmic whatever they're calling it. It's
Ishgard in space.
Yeah, Ishgard restoration in space. Actually looks interesting, and they boshified the gathering area. What would be the revamped diadem with like critical engagements for gathering and stuff that you can queue up for, and if you accrue enough notoriety equivalent somehow, you can apply to be the guy in a mech that shows up to make the gathering better for everybody. So while this will undoubtedly lead to some people trolling and causing frustration, it feels like they're actually spicing that up a bit. I'll take it just to add some spice to something like that.
This seems like such a low priority relative to the magnitude of the problems.
Yeah, it is. I'm stretching to find the one good thing here.
The only other good thing I saw thrown about was that they're nerfing Pictos, but they kind of have to.
No, they're nerfing Pictos on top of it? Good. Because I'm tired of seeing people, when their Final Fantasy discussions go, but then you have Picto.
Yeah.
And
everything is basically broken and you're the most powerful thing forever.
Yeah, and so while the Ishgard restoration has a whole bunch of bobs and whistles, it's not the main part of gameplay for me and not something I focus on. So I tuned out during this bit a bit until they mentioned the Baja related stuff, and that looks interesting. We don't have a whole lot of details on it yet, but could be a fun side thing, distraction. But that is not coming out for a few weeks, I think, after launch of the patch. So that's been pushed out. Basically, everything that isn't the raid content or the main story quest has been pushed out by several weeks into the patch. And remember, the Dawntrail patch cycle is longer in between patches than any other expansion so far.
And this is one of the most frustrating things I've found with Dawntrail is just this absolute drip of content.
Well, it's not even like a drip, because the content in 7.1 was so lackluster, nobody gave a crap. Like
nobody gave a crap. No.
New Alliance raid, okay?
Yay.
New dungeon with MSQ, okay? Like it was all just the rote expected stuff and literally nothing else.
Yeah, I more or less decided that if 7.2 isn't a banger, I'm just going to end my sub and sacrifice my house. I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
I've set up giving them until the exploration zone comes out, and that has to grab me or I'm canceling my sub.
Yeah, we'll just have to let the houses go, because otherwise it's just dead money.
Yeah, I will not keep paying them to keep my sub up if the exploration zone is crap. And it needs to be good on launch. I don't care about your excuses of, oh, it can get better, when the population. I don't care about any of that crap. Or once people figure out stuff, it needs to be good out the gate after the disasters they've had. Mm-hmm. That we are at that point where I'm not giving Final Fantasy any more leeway. They've had more than enough from me, and I'm just not messing with that anymore. But we won't know until halfway through 7.2, because the exploration zone doesn't come out until 7.25, halfway through the patch cycle.
Yeah. I don't even have any faith in them that they can do it well. Their priority doesn't seem to be on doing anything well. End of story.
Yeah. So
I've seen no evidence they care about the quality of anything.
Yeah. They just, their heart doesn't seem to be in it. The drive to genuinely do things well and have creative, fun ideas and make sure everybody's having a good gameplay experience just doesn't seem to be on the table right now. I don't know what has gone wrong.
Like, as far as moving forward with the story goes, it seems like they're just hell bent on exploring more Solution 9 bullcrap, and I do not care at all. I don't care about the characters at Solution 9. I don't care about Sven. All of my feelings for Wook Lamar are resoundingly negative. Like, I don't want this anymore. I've had enough. Move the story to something of any interest to anybody, because I can guarantee you no one worth a damn is interested in the story you're currently telling.
Yeah. It really does just ring like, well, we just got to push it out because it's already written. Real lazy approach when the passive approach ain't going to work here. We're 2 patches into the cycle now. You've had time to get feedback. It's time to start showing some pivots. And we ain't got hide nor hair of that.
Yeah, if this patch isn't a banger, and it doesn't look like it will be, I'm going to be unsubbing, and I'm not even going to look at it again until last patch before new expansion.
Yeah, I will not care after if this is a dud. Because yeah, I would like to get on the ground floor of the new Deep Dungeon when it comes out, but I just don't have confidence they'll learn the right lessons from that either at the rate they're going.
It's hard to care about that when everything else around it just kind of makes it go.
Well,
there's not really any need to sub for that anyway, because it'll still be there when we come back to the game if the game gets good again later.
Yeah, I'll just be off the ground floor with the guides already written and won't be able to figure it out myself. But I can just.
But it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun until the classes have unique quirks again anyway.
Yeah, it really is. There are 2 dongles hanging over Final Fantasy XIV right now they desperately need to address. One is the god-awful story right now, every aspect of it, every character in it, and the way they behaved in Dawn Trail. There is no salvaging this. Your very concept is flawed because of the way you intended to execute. You need to just flush the whole thing. The other
one good character and you killed him. Bastards.
Otis?
Yes.
And Otis
Otis is sort of a symptom of another problem anyway, though, right? Like, they've got this bizarre disease where they Solution 9 is an extension of the gap between Endwalker and Dawn Trail in essence. Having a few little callbacks and graphics and things that reminded you of Final Fantasy VIII in Shadowbringers was one thing, but the Final Fantasy IV influence on the end of Endwalker was way too strong, right?
It was basically
it was just a copy. It was a copy paste. This is not an homage. This is not a reference. This is just like, oh well, we just use this to map out our content rather than having to think for ourselves.
It's literally the same villains from Final Fantasy IV,
and they are rapidly skewing in that direction for Final Fantasy IX with Dawn Trail. And Otis is basically, the sort of like a bit like a Steiner stand-in.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to say he's an original character. He's just a spin on an existing character because they couldn't be bothered writing an original character.
Incidentally, the Paladin raid or tier set is it's basically Steiner's armor.
Yeah.
Which is also lazy. Why should not this world have its own character? Why does it just have to be Final Fantasy IX? That's been done already. Member berries
references, but
I don't think member berries are going to do as well for them as they think they are. I think that I'm expecting there to be a very negative reaction to the armor sets in this coming patch because they look atrocious.
Yeah, I've not seen positive impressions of it, and I thought they looked terrible too.
I've only seen the Paladin one.
With when it comes to specifically them riffing off older Final Fantasies and how much value that has for them, and just copy pasting whole cloth plot lines and characters into the game. I think with Final Fantasy in particular, unless you're doing like 7 or maybe 6, no, not even 6. 7's really the only one that has enough cultural purchase. You just aren't going to have enough of your player base that's played that particular Final Fantasy for it to really latch on and grab the community.
Yeah.
It's people have played a smattering of Final Fantasy games for the most part. Very few people, even hardcore JRPG fans, have played every single Final Fantasy that's come out.
I've seen that there are a lot of people also commenting that they just don't really like the Alliance raid simply because they feel like they're not in on the joke.
Yeah, because it's so heavily Final Fantasy XI themed. Well, it's not just Final Fantasy XI themed; it's a direct crossover. they got away with it in Shadowbangers with the near raid because Yoko Taro is already effing weird, and even the Yoko Taro fans don't know what the heck he's talking about. Like, they can find the cool callbacks and Easter eggs, but no matter who you are, Yoko Taro fan or not, you're gonna have to go do some reading to figure out what all these references are. Like, everybody's on the same page and in the same boat with the near raids. When it comes to...
it was so bizarre and alien that I kind of enjoyed it just for that. Like, there's nothing like the Red Girl fight anywhere else in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah,
nothing even remotely resembles it.
Yeah, every single fight in that raid series is pretty much a banger, except for the PvP boss in raid 2. We could probably... Well, I say that, but it does make some fun memories.
It's memorable. When somebody lasers your party.
Yeah.
Like, just... yeah, good memories. I remember our party at each other's throats. And then we all got lasered, and there was a moment of unity. All the fighting ceased, and our anger was redirected at Group B. I think it was Group B. Might have been Group C. But, yeah, it's a mess. I don't know what to do with Final Fantasy. I don't expect... while it will be nice if it does, I'm not expecting the exploration zone to blow me away. Or give me...
Honestly, I think this whole expansion might just be a lost cause.
Yeah, I think the whole expansion's a dud. I'm dubious that the town... I'm quickly approaching the point where Shadowbringers was a fluke. I just...
It was an incredible expansion, but I just don't... I have seen no evidence that they... When I say replicate that performance, I don't mean directly clone the content.
Yeah, I mean...
But, yeah.
The innovation just doesn't feel like it's there. The desire, the drive to diversify the gameplay the way that we as players want, and I'm sure most of the player base want, just doesn't seem to be there. They seem to be okay with coasting, which is dangerous for them right now because Squeenix is not doing super well financially aside from Final Fantasy XIV. Like, from what I understand, 16 made a profit, but not by much. And because it was so dang expensive to produce. Like, it sold well, especially for a console exclusive, and it did get a PC release later to help it out, but it wasn't the gangbusters banger for the price they dumped into it. And it was a good game, but it wasn't a great game for that much money they put into it. And then you got all their other failed projects like Forspoken and stuff that just have flopped on their face with huge amounts of money thrown into them. The only thing that seems to be keeping that company afloat financially is Final Fantasy XIV. And I guess the ERPers and Limsa are going to buy whatever crap you throw on the cash shop. But your subscription...
that's even proving to have limits.
Yeah, your subscription base, though, it is dwindling. The player account keeps going down. And
there will be a resurgence for 7.2.
Well, there's always a patch resurgence, but I will be curious after this patch resurgence if we compare this 7.2 after the settle, about 3 or 4, give it about a month and a couple weeks in. Compare that to 6.2 or 5.2. What's the percentage drop off here? How many people are just saying, F it, I'm done? Especially when there's so much stuff to play right now.
Yep. There's no other big MMOs really on the horizon.
No, and I do get it. I feel like MMOs are my instinctual default home because they're what I've grown up with. And there isn't one really that I want to play. But as much as I think that the World of Warcraft expansion looks terrible, and they haven't actually done anything they promised, and the story does not look interesting. They have done a better job of drumming the hype train up, and people will use that as a fallback if they have to.
The World of Warcraft expansion has the benefit of being better than the previous one.
Well, that's not hard.
That's not hard. But beyond that, it kind of came out. It had a tie point, and then it just stagnated.
Yeah,
I think that I'm over that game. I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah,
I don't think they
Yeah.
could ever make it good enough to bring bring me back. Not even if it was really great, I don't think I would go back.
yeah,
I just don't think that I can do that again.
The game
The
is
very
basically
thought makes me
unrecognizable
feel
from what it used to be anyway.
My life has been
the very thought
happier.
of it makes me feel ill.
It just I have been, for all the problems and complaints I have about how life's going all the time, I know it would be worse if I was playing WoW.
Yes.
I don't care.
Somebody would be stealing your breast milk from the fridge.
Yeah.
Why?
Hope-
Incidentally, I
hope
did
it's not
watch
mine.
a couple of episodes of one anime, by the way, called Goodbye Dragon Life. It's an anime where absolutely nothing happens, but there is this whole thing in this village where the farm lady has the best milk in the land, and everyone drinks it all the time. She does not own a single cow.
I think I saw people on social media talking about that.
Yeah.
Did a Doshiguma
you're-
just donate me its hair for some reason?
I wonder if a
Yes?
monster broke its tail out there.
Yeah, I just got this random Doshiguma here.
I wonder if it just got struck by lightning, actually.
Could be, it does happen.
You know, you're just out there with your Shugama bros and you get zapped by lightning.
Yeah. So yeah, do not watch Dragon Life. Goodbye Dragon Life. It's terrible. Just saying.
I haven't watched any anime in a while. I don't know if I even want to get back in the habit because of how much time it tends to consume.
There's so much bad stuff. So there's the gem in the shit, but you've got to go through some shit.
I haven't
Yeah,
talked.
there's just a lot of Drek out there that, you know, the most popular stuff is like, yeah, I remember that series in the 2000s. It was just called something else, type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did watch the second season of Banished from the Heroes Party, and Written Red got engaged.
I think I saw that a long time ago.
Yeah, I came to it late, and thankfully they play Ruti's affection for Red as just her autism.
She does have a abundance of autism.
Yeah, and Red is firmly in relationship with I'm brain farting on all their names now. On the blonde haired girl. But it was okay for a second season. It was not worth writing home about because it still was banished from the Heroes Party. At least they're engaged now. so that's good.
More forward progress than most anime couples get.
Yeah, they seem to be moving on with that relationship. So yeah, don't really have much else. I
Wasn't there like new ReZero or something? Are you going to watch that?
It's coming out piecemeal. So I did watch the first release, and I talked about it when that came out. I think the second batch has started to come out. I'm waiting for it to fully release because ReZero is fully serialized, and so I prefer to watch those in batches in full bulk. But what I watched of the first 8 episodes when those came out, it does not overtake season 2 because season 2 as a whole is a really hard story to one up. But it did a very competent job, I thought. 1 or 2 plot lines felt a little contrived, but it wasn't so egregious that it broke my immersion with the story. And Subaru is getting much better at channeling his inner Reen Schwarzer. He really started to tap into it.
Head?
No, he gives big dramatic speeches before everybody does everything. Oh boy, does he take it up to 11 in this one.
So he's not just going patting little girls' heads all the time.
No. The one whose head he wants to pat is currently in a coma.
Can't she be normal for 5 minutes?
No, she's dead. Well, not dead, but in a coma.
There's always something wrong with that woman.
No, not the white-haired one, the blue-haired one.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, apparently the author wrote a what-if scenario where she doesn't lose her memory after the white whale fight, and her and Subaru actually go off together to have a kid. and they live happily ever
happy
after.
ending for you.
And he basically wrote this as a look at what could have happened, and this will never ever happen in the story.
This is we're doing this to rule out the possibility that it could ever be canon.
Yeah. This will not have a happy ending this way. But season 3 so far has been competent and good. I'm interested to see where the story's going. I have not checked ahead because the light novel number 1 ain't done, and number 2, I actually enjoy watching this one animated, and think the speeches do a lot better when given a voice and animation behind them, and the fight scenes that are there have a lot more impact when they're done in animation. So I don't want to read ahead and spoil myself on them. But we'll see where it goes once the full season's out. I held off on judging season 2 until it was all out, and I'm glad I did. It made the whole thing much, much better. Watching it all at once and wait until I got to the end. And I pretty much intend to do the same for season 3 and only watch it once each batch is fully dropped, because it's coming out in 3 mini cores, basically, of 8 episodes each.
By 90% of my knowledge about ReZero comes from Isekai Quartet, so
yeah.
Probably not the most reliable source, that one.
I know. So ReZero still has my recommendation for what's out so far in season 3. You do still have to chew through the first half of season 1.
I just got free chemistry supplies. Everything out there's getting struck by lightning.
Yeah, it does look awfully gloomy out there.
I need to go and hunt one of those Sandstar things.
Sandstar thingies?
Oh, it's an endemic life that was the first endemic life I caught out here, I think. And it turns out that and it was a pain in the butt to catch as well. I had to chase it for like 15 minutes because I didn't know how to catch it. There is an easier way to do it, but I ran it down over the course of like a quarter of an hour. Basically, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to hit it with a sonic pod.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, it won't let you get close enough. But
you could just chase it.
Now there's a quest to get one, so I have to get another one.
Yeah, they're just out randomly in the desert, from what I can tell.
There's probably a particular season for it.
Yeah,
probably.
Might even be preferred spots on the dunes. But yeah, all the information I had when I did that quest was from Fextra Life, so I disregarded all of it and just ran around the desert.
Alright, we should wrap up.
Yep, we're over time.
Alrighty.
Alright. Email topic of the week is where are you at with Wilds? If you got any specific comments, I'd love to hear them on what you think you've noticed with the game. Specifically, any differences between Wilds and the previous Monhuns, mostly worlds, that you felt have been changed in wonky ways, like the ways we noted. Do you agree or not? Because I would like to get some community consensus on this, because Monhun's general internet commentariat, both for and against it, are useless. More useless than normal, I found. So there you go. All right, you got anything for us in this out?
Nope.